the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, the passing of childhood icons, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I am Mr. Jason Roscom, with me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
Well, two things. A, I'm trying to figure out if the entire doctor's office can hear us for a member of the chat who happens to be sitting in a doctor's office waiting to be called back. So I'm hoping if his ear pods are loud enough that everyone can hear us.
Yes.
So, hello, everyone, if you're listening.
Are you saying I'm being loud? Is that what's going on?
No, I mean, usually I am.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, like, with childhood icons, what'd I miss?
Well, that's the first note. Bob from Sesame Street.
What?
Yeah, he died a day or two ago.
I fucking completely missed that.
Yeah, 90 years old, so I mean, it's one of those situations where, it sucks, but at the same time, he lived a fucking good life. If I make it to 90, I'll be happier than a pig in shit.
Yeah. I'll be happier than a fucking monster in a garbage can.
Yes, exactly. But, Bob, he's been on Sesame Street since the inception.
Yeah, he was the OG.
Yeah, so, we grew up with him.
Bob and Maria.
Yeah, my kids were watching Sesame Street. He was on there when they were watching, and
God, Sesame Street. When did that first show?
It was the 70s when it first debuted.
God, I remember. Jeez, staple, household staple.
Yep, for sure. But yeah, no, Bob passed over the weekend, so sad face.
I love this.
As Dave laughs for some reason.
Yeah, Lunar Girl posted it on our sites.
It shows how much Dave actually.
I mean, listen, if Dave. Anyway. Yes, I know you did, Lunar Girl, and thank God for you, because if it relied on me to do shit like that, then we'd probably still be talking about, I don't know, dinosaurs going extinct. I don't fucking know.
Well, speaking of that, what are we talking about today? Because it's not dinosaurs.
Oh, I was going to say, because I did not prepare for a dinosaur extinction level event.
Oh, that would be a good conversation, though.
It could be, for sure.
Yeah.
Go digging around the Yucatan Peninsula for the...
I don't know about all that, but maybe we could just read some stuff, maybe watch some videos and do a show on it.
Okay, fair enough. What are we talking about today?
Yes.
Well, so you were super excited about seeing a movie recently.
Yes, I was.
It was a movie called Interstellar.
Correct.
And I think you actually mentioned it on the show, how excited you were when you saw it. And you said,
Absolutely.
we have to do this and cover it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about Interstellar, and I think we're going to break it down in a way that kind of
every time you say break it down, I'm just
I'm gonna keep saying it randomly. I think we'll break it down. Oh, it's over. We'll get into some science stuff, and we'll talk about our likes and dislikes for the movie itself. Rather than going like a scene by scene thing, it's kind of what we talked about ahead of time. And this movie came out 8 years ago, something like that. Yeah. So it's not like we have to worry about spoilers,
right?
One would hope.
Yeah,
but
we'll get there when we get to the movie part. Yeah. But in the meantime,
it's so timely though that we're covering Interstellar, because it's not in the notes. But one of the things that happened today was the Artemis mission. Mm-hmm. Is making it made its return trajectory burn, coming around the backside of the moon today.
Yep.
At around 11:43, I think was the timing of the burn.
That I have no idea.
11:43 Eastern, I think it was.
Okay. I don't know why that's relevant, but sure.
I don't. It's just the things that are in my brain. That was in there, not Bob from Sesame Street dying, but that was in there.
Priorities, man.
This is like what such a giant nerd I was. So I was in between doing shit and getting ready for stuff I had going on at work, and I had it on the TV at work, and I had the YouTube feed on there, and I had my moon globe on my phone, and I'm like looking at the craters and just watching the moon get bigger in the fucking basically in the view screen. And I'm just like on the moon globe trying to figure out exactly like positioning where it fucking was. Yeah, nice. It was fucking great. It's a shame I had to actually work today. Otherwise, I would have been just staring at the moon for several hours today.
And you are wearing your NASA shirt today.
I am indeed, as I should be, because it's NASA is exposed prolifically. It's gonna be a rough one.
Words. These are not the most complicated words that we're going to be using today.
Factually correct. Yeah, I got my NASA shirt on. I'm ready to go.
Excellent. Alrighty. Well, in the meantime, should we talk about Patreon?
You should talk about Patreon.
All right, I will talk about
Made
Patreon.
me think for a second that it was me, but no, it's you.
All right. Well, if you're enjoying the Sidebar Cantina's content,
Fuck.
God damn it, it's catching on.
Yep, it's catching.
Fucking hell,
Break
Dave.
it down.
If you're enjoying the Sidebar Cantina's content, consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. For as little as $1 a month, you can support this podcast. and help-
Allegedly.
Oh my God. This is not a good omen. Oh, I was going to do the same thing. All right, let's try this again. For as little as $1 a month, you can support this podcast and help make it possible for us to continue to bring you quality content week after week. We'd like to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons: Lord Helmet Fire, my wonderful mother-in-law, Patricia Goodstein, Ivo G, Dragon Buddy, Wally Frogmore, Frank Kalevich, Kristen Roscom, Frederick Martin, Don Solsky, Catherine Rennick, David Schmuck, Scott and Kim from the Use and Abuse podcast, Nicholas Schaefer, and Nick from Sweet Studios. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/the Sidebar Cantina. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this.
Athletic supporter?
Back to you, Dave. No.
Oh. It's just the way you said it.
Oh. Let's try to get through it fast. Since I was fucking up in the beginning. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Because speed is what we're all about here. Expeditious nature of getting through our podcast.
No, in fact, what was Andor? Like a 3-hour show when we finished up Andor was it last week?
Was it?
Yeah, it was a long show.
Was it?
Yeah. It was not speedy.
Yeah, this one's probably not going to be either. It might be, though. Who knows?
We'll see.
Red 5?
So smooth.
Yeah. Red 5 headlines. There's no Red 5 headlines today.
Oh, wow.
But instead, we'd like to give a shout out to Melanie Marquita and Scott Rasmussen.
Scott!
Thank you for our tags with Wikipedia and Good Pods. Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia, I think they put out a tweet and they basically just said to everybody, like, what's your favorite Star Wars podcast?
Oh, is that
and we got tagged in a couple
I saw
of them.
the tweet. I didn't realize that Wikipedia was the nexus of that.
Yeah.
And I was going to put something, in there saying, hey, yeah, the Sidebar Cantina is the best. And I'm like, wait a minute. In my Twitter, bio, it says that I'm a co-host of the Sidebar Cantina podcast.
So, bad visuals.
Yeah, so I didn't do it.
But, I mean, if you're the type of person, potentially like me, who has multiple accounts on all social media,
You would
under different aliases and...
That would require a lot more effort. Sidebar. So I saw this particular thing. Thank you, Melanie and Scott, for our tags. I'll finish this. It's followers that make what we do so incredibly rewarding. We appreciate you. Thank you. Sidebar continued. I saw this and I'm like, oh, you know what? It would be great. I think Hennifer needs her own Twitter handle.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, her own social media presence.
Right. So I am working that as her fucking agent. I am working Hennifer Lopez's social media presence. That is in progress. Luna Girl, once I have all that stuff finalized, you'll be the first to know.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
It would have been finalized already, but the fucking electrons decided they wanted to be all fucking... Some gravity must have fucking happened, and one thing wouldn't talk to the other, and it just would not verify. Went to this fucking weird feedback loop where it would not verify the fucking account. So yeah, go into the email, say, okay, I'll verify. Here's your 6-digit number, and then go to verify. It's like, nope, this does not exist. Yeah, it does. You sent me an email to this account.
Yeah.
Using this email address.
Yeah.
Nope, can't find it. Like, seriously? Like, click, 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 click. Try it on the computer. Click, 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 click. Nope. Like, all right, fuck you. I'm done. I'm done for today. After like a half hour dicking around with it, I'm like, nope. Try again later. So, in progress. It is a work in progress. And then Hennifer will have her own social media presence. And then who knows what that will turn into. But yes,
I can only imagine. She's already taken on quite the life of her own
right,
here on the show.
Right.
So
the good idea fairy was hard at work on that one. And yeah, so more to follow.
Alrighty. So we had some Star Wars news dumped on us in the last week. Some of it was dumped on us today. What? Wikipedia follows us on, I'm assuming that's Twitter? Sweet. Yeah, Luna Girl's letting us know in the chat that Wikipedia now follows us.
Wow.
Fucking
I
sweet.
feel a little bit more important right now.
I mean, we reference them, or we reference something from that fucking website every single Star Wars topic we have. So
yeah, I mean, it's true. I don't know if we give them the actual, like,
sometimes
referencing.
Sometimes we'll mention, oh, we're looking this up on Wikipedia. It says blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, or mispronounce it or just completely misquote it.
Sure.
But now that we know that we're following and potentially listening,
Yeah, maybe we'll do our due diligence and be better at referencing.
probably not.
Probably not, but hey, we tried.
That's not our thing. It's not what we do.
At least we tried. So anyway, Star Wars news in the last week. And this was a big Lucasfilm dump. Lucasfilm released a ton of information. Actually, I think Disney in general did. I think there was some Marvel shit that came out too. But anyway, the important stuff. Star Wars. Mandalorian Season 3, we have an official release date. Because it was, some people were saying, oh, mid-January, February 1st, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, we actually have a, what is it, March 1st?
March 1st.
Yeah, man. I thought I wrote it in the notes, but now it's fucking gone. I wrote that the release date is confirmed. I didn't actually write the fucking release date. I'm like, wait a minute.
That would have been smart.
Yeah, March 1st. So I was right. I knew it. I knew it.
I told you March 1st.
Right, but I can't believe a thing that comes out of your mouth. But no, so
I am hurt and offended.
So this is actually, to me, it's a good thing. Even though I know most people were expecting it January, February timeframe, it's good because we got Bad Batch coming out, 1 or 2 January, something like that, like first week of January. So we'll have 2 months of Bad Batch by itself before we roll right into Mandalorian, because I don't like the overlapping of Star Wars content. I think there's enough out there that just like you don't need to overlap it. Just like have one concurrent show at a time. Maybe a week or two of overlap, but not like a whole series. So I think it's perfect, and I'm sure that was always part of their plan. So
I'm sure they plan out things so well. I mean, they have such a solid history of good planning. And like seeing things all the way through.
So, well, that I think that's where the bigger issue is, because they have great ideas, great planning ideas.
Right.
It's just they don't really know how to compensate when things don't go to plan, and it's like, oh fuck, we have to fire this director, or fuck, we have to scrap this whole fucking script.
Call Ron Howard.
Yeah. So, yeah, they have great plans on paper.
Right.
Just doesn't seem to work out that way a lot of times.
What if we should have a Ryan Howard. Yeah, no, not the Phillies baseball player from 2008. No, we should have a Ron Howard, easy button. Like, hey, we have a problem. We need to call Ron Howard. That was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Have him come in and save the day, like he's some sort of superhero. No.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
No, that'd be good. Did you see the new Indiana Jones trailer?
No.
You didn't watch it?
No, I didn't.
Do you not have any interest in that?
There's only no.
I
look. Do I need to see old ass Harrison Ford fucking run around and try and pretend like he's Indiana Jones right now?
I mean, you'd watch him if he was Han Solo.
Well, I did do that, but there's a huge difference between Han Solo and Indiana Jones.
That is true. I'm just shocked that you wouldn't even watch the trailer, if nothing else, just out of general curiosity.
Jason, I didn't know that Bob from Sesame Street died.
So you didn't even know the trailer came out.
I had some awareness that the trailer came out. I did not take time out of my busy day to watch said trailer, because while I may be interested in watching the trailer, I do not have that much interest in actually watching whatever movie is associated with it, because I think that they've wrung that franchise to completion. Like, it's one thing to have the Skywalker saga and then like and you run through the entirety of the Skywalker saga as they have. It's a whole nother thing to run an entire one fucking dude, like, to the point where it's like, okay, we're gonna pick this rag that we found in the fucking street, and we're gonna shake it out real good.
It's gonna be like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, exactly. We're just gonna fucking slap it onto the fucking movie screen, and people are gonna pay money because it says Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Who's doing the score?
That's a good question. I don't know if I feel like John Williams was tapped for this. Well, to the internet. And fuck.
To the internet.
Indiana Jones 5 score.
While you're doing that, Scarif After Dark is letting us know that someone brought a Jennifer Lopez mug and will be unboxing it later tonight.
Excellent.
Excellent. Yes.
Like, is that going to be on YouTube or anything, or?
I would imagine so, if they're going to be unboxing it.
Yeah,
Either that or
let
just
us
going to
know.
do it in the confines of their own home,
Yeah.
in the dark with some soft music playing.
And that's fine too.
That is fine.
Yeah, and it is John Williams for Indy 5,
All of it?
apparently. It will be his last score. He'll be retiring after this.
I'm going to have to watch it then.
Yeah, because
damn it.
well, and Ben,
God damn you.
me.
God damn you.
Well, Ben, my youngest son, is like this weird Harrison Ford like super fan. He loves everything he does, all the
really
Star
that
Wars,
weird,
all
but-
the Indiana Jones. So yeah, he's
Crashing his airplane into golf courses.
Yeah, you know, as you do. So I guarantee you I'm going to be seeing this movie. Even if regardless of whether or not I want to, I'm going to be seeing this movie. He made me watch Indy 4 with him, so.
I'll go see it. I'll go see it if this is legit going to be the last thing that John Williams scores.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to see it in the theater because I'm going to want the full fucking sound experience.
Yeah. Ooh,
To hear John Williams' last score.
I bet they have it in 4DX.
You think 4DX the sound will be different, or that
No.
RTX? Like, didn't that the one in Morristown with the RTX thing?
Yeah, that's the one with the fucking super loud.
Right.
Fucking brah.
It's fucking it's vibrating your colon clean.
Yeah,
type
pretty much.
fucking sound.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's RPX.
whatever.
RPX.
What did I say? RTX.
Yeah.
You know, 46, 47, whatever it takes.
So anyway, yeah. Mandalorian season 3, March 1st. Can't wait. And you can bet your ass we'll be talking about it at length on the show. So
Yeah.
good times there. The other piece of Star Wars news just came out today, actually, that the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, we're going to have a gameplay reveal next week at some video game award thing. And apparently the release date was leaked to be March of 23. So a lot of Star Wars stuff coming out March of 23.
I'm happy to hear that. I'd rather have a Star Wars game come out sooner than later, because I think initially with this game I thought this game wasn't going to be out for much longer. Like almost a late 23, like Christmas 23 release.
Yeah, which means they probably have been working on it since the last one released.
Yeah, it's the same developer as the first one, right?
Yeah, so probably using the same game engine, updated graphics.
Titanfall 2 guys.
Yeah, new. Oh, and there's pre-order fucking bonuses, of course.
Of course.
God damn it, Reggie Ray. And I think I'll have to do some more research, but I think
you know how good this is going to be on Xbox X.
that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm pretty sure it's optimized for the new systems as opposed to these games they've been releasing for like Xbox One and Xbox Series X. And it's like, no, we're done with the old shit.
Yeah.
So should be good. It'd be great.
It's going to be great.
So what we're going to have to do, because I don't know, I can't remember if I actually mentioned this when we covered Jedi Fallen Order here on the show. I didn't finish the fucking game.
You'd mentioned that.
Okay, good. So
I did. I finished the game.
Yeah, so
the not video game completion guy usually.
Yeah, so I need to put in an effort, probably over the holidays, finish the fucking game.
Right.
And then, maybe we can do a look back as we get ready for Jedi Survivor.
I think that'd be warranted. Before I start school again. Maybe we do a playthrough.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. You've got that coming up, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Speaking of which, since we're talking about ourselves, should we just jump right into our weeks?
Is it that time?
It is that time.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty. So, as always, I have an addition to
The sacred Jedi.
So this time I was looking for something cheap.
Every time.
Something that I could get quickly, and ask and you shall receive. Thank you, Amazon. We have a new Mandalorian figure. He's got some fucking splatters on him. I'm looking at this thing trying to figure out which version of the Mandalorian this is. He's got some like fucking maroon splatters on him. I'm thinking, is that from the opening scene of when he showed up on Boba Fett, when he goes into that fucking meat locker and beats the fuck out of all those guys? Because he's also got that credit chip at the top.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know which version of Mando this is. But it's another Mando. It's in the different style packaging, but it's not an archive. It's not listed as an archive, so I kind of wonder if this is an original one.
2021. So the card says 2021.
And Bronco Fett, you can shut your mouth right now. I can't. As much as I would love to, I can't, man.
What? Open it and play with it?
No, he's talking about me collecting the Black Series version of G.I. Joes, the 6-inch
Oh, no, God,
G.I.
no.
Joes. Like, trust me, I would love nothing more than to do that. But
What's funny is, speaking of Bronco Fett, this like the way the face shield is colored has some very Bronco Fett looking face coloring.
oh yeah, with the
about
blue
it.
and all
Yeah.
that. Let's see if we can get a good close up here.
It kind of loses the color a little bit.
And all right, she called me out in the chat. So yeah, Kristen actually supplied this for me. I did not go onto Amazon and buy it. She was gracious enough to give me something from her stash of Black Series figures she has for me because I needed one for this week. So I didn't realize she'd be in the chat. You know,
Oh, Jason.
scrutinizing my every word.
Jason.
But speaking of Kristen and surprising me with things, I got one other gift this week. The usual Lego Advent calendar.
Nice.
Yeah, so I kind of assumed you had one too.
I do not.
With your current obsession. Oh,
I do really want one this year.
Yeah. So, and being that it's already January
It's not January.
5th, December 5th,
I was gonna say.
we've already got 5 that we can open in here.
Dare you?
Do you want to open some?
No, it's your calendar. You do it.
Well, I mean, like it's a team thing. We do it together.
Okay.
January 1.
December.
December.
Why are you accelerating?
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. All right, so that's the schematic. So,
Looks like a.
the dropship, right? The clone dropship.
Yep, looks like a dropship.
Yep.
I would agree.
So,
All right, numero 2. Can't see the line, can you, Russ? It's a minifig.
what is it?
It is a trooper. Trooper
sweet.
minifig. Sweet.
The clone trooper at that. He's got the yellow on him. This could be Commander Cody.
Go.
Maybe. All right. What's today? Oh wait, no, 3. Riveting for the audio audience. I know.
We get to listen to all the crinkling.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's probably a weapon stand or something.
Yeah. Okay.
These Advent calendars are always good for that. You know what? But saying that, like these little audio, it's gonna love that. No, these little packs are great for these specialty pieces, right? Because if you have a collection of Legos and sometimes you're like looking for, what's this weird? You know, here's this triangular piece with 2 buttons on top and a hollow midsection. You know, where do you even find that? Well, this is where you get pieces like that. You can get them in these random collections.
Yeah.
So what are we up to? 4?
4. And then sometimes, you don't know what the fuck you're looking at until you put the thing together, and then you're like, oh, it's that.
It's like it's a Star Destroyer of some type.
Oh.
Tiny Star Destroyer.
So smooth.
Yes.
Let me see that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. And then last one for the fifth. I plead the fifth. Where the fuck is it? Oh, there it is. And it's, a battle droid.
Nice.
Hooray! All right, so thank you to Kristen for this wonderful advent calendar. We'll be opening up every week, getting caught up, and until then, we'll start putting these together sporadically. That's really it for my week. A couple other things that I don't really want to get into here on the show, and that's about it.
Why'd you even bring it up?
I don't know.
Why? A couple other things that, I don't know. I'm not going to bring up for the show. And you didn't need to say them.
It's been a weird day.
Tell me about it. All right. I've got pops.
All right, you mean
The sacred Jedi
pops?
Yes, I do.
Yo!
So check these bad boys out.
What?
Yeah.
Look,
So
first of all, look at the colors in this fucking package.
that's what she said. That's not necessarily a good thing.
That was good. Yo, this is the comic adaptation of fucking Return. I had that fucking thing when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When I was like fucking 5 years old, 6 years old. I had the fucking Return of the Jedi trade paperback comic book.
I think I actually, that one might be in the Sacred Jedi
Comics?
comics.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
Oh my god, these are awesome.
So
Yeah, they're like comic book colored fucking pops.
So I went to Target. I was killing time before I got my haircut this weekend. And I just, was wandering around. And I go back and I'm looking at the pops like you do. And
These are so fucking cool.
they're really just,
How many of these are there?
there's
The comic ones.
so they had these 3.
Well, that's what they had, but
I don't know. I honestly I didn't do any deeper research than just these 3 because they're not listed on the box anywhere.
yeah.
So these are all probably the Target exclusive ones. Oh fuck. Oh, sorry. Damn it. So I go back there. I pick these up. I'm like, oh man, they're so fucking cool. I just like the coloring. I just like the idea of them. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get them. Right? They were Target exclusives. So I'm like, oh, they're probably worth something. I scan them in the Funko app.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so this one, I think the R2 was the cheapest one in the Funko app.
Okay.
$22, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 were 23 in the Funko app.
Okay.
I get to the Target thing to check out. I got them. They were buy 2 get 1 free.
Of course.
I spent $7 each.
Okay.
So actually, no, it was even cheaper than that because I spent like $17 on all 3.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, for one, like this is worth.
So,
There's probably a lot of them.
would you like to know what else is available
Yes.
out there?
Yes, let's
there's
hear
a
it.
Vader. There's a Luke. There's a Stormtrooper. There's a C-3PO. There's a Boba Fett.
Okay,
All in this style.
they're all Target exclusives.
I don't think so. One of them's an Amazon exclusive. I don't know what the Boba Fett is.
Boba Fett.
Where? Oh, Boba Fett's a Walmart exclusive. Luke is an Amazon exclusive. So yeah, you're just gonna have to do some digging.
Yeah, and it's 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't.
And they're listed as comic cover.
Sweet. So yeah, God, they're super sharp, and with the pops being on sale, I don't know if it was just this weekend or for the holidays. Ended up being a perfect deal. So yeah, I've been on the pop hiatus because I've been on doing the Lego bit. But yeah, these just kind of jumped out at me.
Sorry, Kristen's saying
I see
something in
that.
the chat.
Yeah. So,
Anyhow, carry on.
gotta watch your P's and Q's, Mister.
Indeed.
God, thank God I turned off that heater. I think we would just went. I don't know how.
No, I was going to. Like, as soon as you rolled into the Red 5 stuff, I was going to get up and turn off the heater.
God damn. By the time we got to the end of this thing, we would have been passed out. Like,
oh my God. So anyway, Interstellar came out in 2014. Good night.
Yeah.
By George Lucas.
Anyway, the only other thing I have for my week is it's 'tis the season to be busy. And like this week in particular, like this is probably the slowest day I'll have this week. Now maybe tomorrow, but even tomorrow is gonna be busy. We have a bunch of stuff happening at the end of the week for Lodge with installations, and there's a meeting and installation, and there's our work Christmas party is happening, and there's just a whole shit ton of stuff all happening like right at once. Super, super busy work week because we're trying to jam everything into the front half of the fucking month. Mm-hmm. You know, because
everybody's going to be gone for the holidays or whatnot.
Everyone's max leave. And so anything I'm going to want to try and get done, you know, none of the military people are going to be around. So, and as they should. But yeah, so everything's trying to get done now. So it's been just crazy fucking busy. And I haven't had time to think about Bob from Sesame Street dying or fucking looking what Luna Girl is posting on the socials.
Yeah.
So I feel bad about that, but at the same time, it's like you're talking about how talking about January, dude. It's gonna be fucking January, like immediately.
Yeah.
I feel like it's happening so quickly.
This whole second half of the year has been just flying by, honestly.
Yeah.
At least from my perspective.
Yeah, it's really running downhill. It's kind of like slow fucking down. Put the boards out. It's fucking slow down.
Yeah, and to think we're gonna be in 2023 soon.
It's just bonkers. Yeah. It's just it doesn't even feel like a real thing.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of time dilation, where time is just moving faster.
Right.
Here.
True. We need to find an area of heavier gravity.
Yeah.
That's really what we need.
Yeah, we need like a black hole. A planet around a black hole.
Do we though? We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why that's a bad idea here in a little bit.
Might be some good surfing there, but all right, anyway, anything else for your week?
No, that was it, man. I've been fucking busy. I have been like last week because it's probably the slowest week I was gonna have this month.
Yeah. And hey, GeForce Racing 20. They said hey to us in the chat. Not sure who that is, but hello.
Hi. Yeah, last week I played some video games. I actually played some Squadrons.
Word?
And I haven't played it in forever, so
I've still never played that, so
it's you have to be like into the flying bit to really.
Well, I'm not against it, but
you have to be into the flying bit with like a joystick, and
I have that.
Yeah, dude. So I logged in, got set up my the joystick and everything, and I just set up a practice screen where all I did was just fly around for a fucking half hour. Like I didn't no fucking AI to fight
combat
against
or anything.
No combat, just fucking flew around
Just
in a TIE fighter.
Just TIE fighter flight sim.
Yeah, just flew in and out of wreckage.
Does it make the sound as you're flying? The TIE fighter sound.
No, because I always do in cockpit. I am not a fucking third person view with flying the fighters, which is why like doing in combat, I am probably not as good as some people. I think it's cheating, like because you don't fly that way. Like, what's the purpose of flying around if you're flying? Like, you don't sit back here and watch yourself fly. Like, you do it from sitting in there in the cockpit, looking out the fucking front window.
I mean, that argument could be made about pretty much any game where you're playing a person. You know, it could put you in first person view, like say Jedi Fallen Order, but they put you in that third person view.
But you don't have an option to go the other way.
Correct.
If they had the option, I would do that.
Oh, okay.
Any game where they have the option to do that, I do that.
All right.
Because I want to have that, like, I don't know, immersion for it.
Yeah.
So, but definitely with like Squadrons and the old TIE Fighter games and shit like that, I want to be looking through the fucking screen at a TIE fighter. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
feel
all
like you're there.
Yeah, so that's all I did was fly around in fucking TIE fighter for a half hour.
If they ever made a VR version of that, you'd totally get VR, wouldn't you?
Oh,
like
fuck
a
yeah, I
VR
would.
version of a TIE
Yeah.
fighter game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I could fucking look around like this.
Yeah,
and
like you're
fucking-
in the fucking
yeah,
cockpit.
see all the fucking lights flashing and shit. Like
Yeah.
look up and see the fucking stars and shit as they're like going by. If I'm fucking
That does sound awesome.
pulling G's, like oh god, I can't wait till we get to that point.
Mhm.
It's coming.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's coming for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was fun. Anyway,
Alrighty.
GeForce has the best toys, by the way.
Yeah,
Better toys than us. We've got good toys.
we do. We have both the
sacred Jedi
pops and
the sacred Jedi Pixies!
Those are all collectibles. I mean, we also have
they're toys.
Look, we're surrounded by Joes.
Yeah, G.I. Joes.
We have fucking micro machines.
Which I don't know how well you can see the new G.I. Joe setup here, but there's a theme going on for
Yes.
anybody who can zoom in.
Yeah,
and
we
see
talked.
what's-
We talked about it last week. Where it's like, hey, bonus points for those who could determine the theme.
Yeah, and
So.
we made it a little more obvious this week.
Right.
So,
So anyway,
anywho,
that's it. That's all
right.
I have for my week.
so we're ready to get to the main topic.
Do
you need to piss or
I
anything?
think I need to pee.
All right. Well, Dave's going to take a piss before we get to the main topic.
Yes.
So, that being said, we're going to take a very quick break and be right back after this word from our sponsors.
If nothing else, I'm staying outside where it's cold for 5 minutes.
Yeah. All right. I know we haven't been going for very long, so let me just see if I missed anything relevant in the chat. Nope, nothing relevant. All right. So, the Sacred Jedi Legos. I know it's. I'll get there. I'll get it done. It's just, it takes time. It's making these audio dumps is a work of art. You can't rush it. So we will get it done. Let's see what else. All right, we're about to get in Interstellar. No more Star Wars. Did anybody else out there watch the Indiana Jones 5 trailer? Any thoughts? There was a really neat de-aging scene that they had in the trailer, which I thought was pretty cool looking. Because apparently there's going to be some time travel type of aspects in this one, which I love me a good time travel story. One of the reasons I really like Interstellar, because of the time dilation aspect and everything of it. So, yeah. Anyway, Use and Abuse just hopped in. Hello.
Listen in the moonlight.
They're threatening to put my head on a Twi'lek chick's body.
That doesn't
Hey,
sound bad.
I mean, if you sell it as merch, then worth it.
That doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. We've got Jason Rose on fucking merch. Well, we used to. It wasn't up last time I checked our T-Public website. It was just the Hennifer and then a couple other of the standard.
Yeah, somebody was supposed to get on that, and
Was it you? Were you that somebody?
I was that somebody. I was, in fact.
Yeah.
Somebody that you used to know. I hate that song. You heard that song?
I actually like it.
Do you really?
I do.
That song.
I like the music video with the chick and the fucking no clothes and
I've
the body
never
paint.
I've never
and-
seen the music video.
Yeah. Yeah, she's kind of hot.
Okay, then maybe I would think differently about it. But as the song stands, just by itself,
Yeah, it's all right.
no.
Well, no, never mind. We could get off on a whole tangent about the whole meaning of the song and everything, but
I don't give it. I don't
right,
care.
you're right. Yeah,
Tonally, it just like.
I don't think that's how it sounds. Jesus Christ, we should have a
awful.
warning before the audio version of this. Like,
Well, this is like.
you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? Oh God, that hurt my ears. All right, are you ready to roll? You should stall a little more.
Break it down.
I'm like, what's the never mind.
Boots and pants and boots and pants.
No, you're throwing me off today. There's like something where it's like if somebody says or does something, somebody always like has to react in one specific way. I don't know. I'm losing my mind. Don't worry about me. Interstellar.
Yes.
So we're talking about Interstellar today from 2014.
2014.
Yes.
Yes.
Released November 5th, 2014, so it's 8 years and a month old at this point. No real anniversary or anything we're tying this to. It was just, we had an opening. I've been wanting to talk about it, so here we are.
Jason, well, no, it has nothing to do with openings. Jason just wanted to talk about it.
Well, I did.
And
I mean, I made that very apparent. But like I said, we were making the schedule, and we already had a shitload of Star Wars topics, so I'm like, let's fucking throw in Interstellar first week of December.
Right.
And here we are. Rotten Tomatoes, 73% with critics, which to me seems a little bit low from what I was expecting when I looked this up. But audience score, 86%. So favorable reviews all around from both critics and audience. So, well received. Budget-wise, this had a budget of $165 million. So it was up there. When it comes to movie costs, ended up grossing $774 million, so made a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Now, here's the weird thing, because when we go into our history and talk about this, like this movie just completely, I missed it somehow, and I'm like sitting here trying to think like, how the fuck did I miss this movie for so many years? It was super successful, directed by Christopher Nolan. This was his first movie right off of the Dark Knight trilogy.
Right.
So, he was the Hollywood it boy at this point. So I think the reason why I missed this movie at the time for two reasons. One, 2014 and 2015 was just a hellacious set of years for me because of our old job, because I was flying my fucking ass off in that time frame. And we've talked about this before. And my son Robert in 2014 was diagnosed with a brain tumor and had brain surgery that year. Yep. 2014 was the year we moved into this house. So a lot of shit going on in my personal life at that point. And quite frankly, I think I had it confused with that movie Gravity that came out the year before, the one with fucking George Clooney and Sandra Bullock,
right?
Which I heard was just a flaming pile of dog shit.
It was not good.
So for all of these reasons mixed together, I just completely missed Interstellar. Just 100%. It just like went over and around me, and it slingshot around the black hole and just fucking fired the escape thrusters, and it was gone.
Right.
Forever, from the life of Jason.
Through the black hole, and then somehow came out the other side to 2022.
Yeah, until a couple of months ago.
And it was much older.
Yes.
But yet looked young.
Indeed.
Somehow.
Yeah. As young and good looking as Anne Hathaway. But we're gonna get to that. A coworker of mine, his name's Kyle. He's the retired lifeguard.
Okay.
Or Coast Guard, whatever. It's the same thing. But yeah, he's like,
dude, wait a minute, I didn't know there was a title lifeguard. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, there's some conversation was happening at work, and then he started talking about Interstellar, and I'm like, yeah, I've never seen that movie. I'm like, is it good? He's like, fuck yeah, it's good. You got to see it. So like that weekend, I pulled it up because it's on Paramount Plus right now. So if you haven't seen it yet, stop listening because spoiler alerts. And go get Paramount Plus for free for a week and go watch fucking Interstellar.
Yes, spoiler alert. I'm usually the one that's like, yes, spoiler alert. Let's make sure the people look, it's 8 years old. It's 8 years old. You had your fucking chance. Stick around.
Okay.
It's fine. You can still listen to what we're going to say and still watch it. And if you're going to enjoy it, you're going to enjoy it.
So I do have one caveat to that.
Okay.
Because I'm that asshole that whenever people bring up a show like Breaking Bad, which I've never seen, but someday would like to, and they start talking about it, I'm like, wait, no spoilers, no spoilers. And they're like, dude, the show's 10 fucking years old. What the fuck? We can't.
You just say that just to say it, though. That's you're just being the Jason troll.
Yeah.
How have you? That's one of those irony things that you of all people haven't seen Breaking Bad.
And that's the thing. Like everybody I know who's seen it and knows me says, "Oh, I'd fucking love it," but it's time, man. Again, we need to find a black hole to fucking, orbit around and have time slow for us.
Yeah, but it wouldn't slow for us.
I know. It's complicated, but we'll get there.
We will get there.
So yeah, either way, this is a whole big roundabout way of saying I fucking missed it until 2 months ago. And now that I've seen it, I fucking love it. Absolutely love it. And you'll hear all the reasons why as we go along. But until then, Dave, what do you got for history?
So I know this when this movie had come out. I didn't care to see it in the theater just because I didn't care to see it in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And, honestly, I wasn't seeing a lot of things in the theater just because the same reasons.
Yeah, because
ops tempo and
we
everything else.
were very busy during that time frame.
However, we did see it. I saw it not maybe illegally, on a DVD 9 version of it that we have probably picked up in Indonesia or something,
or one of our mini stops in Thailand.
Yeah, so we saw it. I remember seeing it on the jet, and I was thoroughly underwhelmed.
Really?
Yeah. As we'll get to as we talk about some of the science stuff on it, my suspension of disbelief was not there for a lot of the movie. And I would like to have a nice discussion about some of the things that are relating to this from a science perspective, and some of the reasons why rewatching it, maybe I'd liked things that I'm not necessarily was not a fan of the first time I saw it, but
okay.
But yeah, I was genuinely underwhelmed. Not that it was a bad movie. I didn't feel like, wow, this is a pile of shit. No, I was just like, okay. Yeah, it was definitely better than Gravity. That movie, that was
which I've never seen.
That was fucking terrible. Don't bother.
Yeah,
don't waste your time. This was one of those where, did you see the movie Contact?
Yes. Oh, I love Contact.
Yeah. So this is the same. Like, this has its roots with that same, like, the astrophysicist who's involved in this production as the executive producer was also worked on Contact, was friends with Carl Sagan. Like, so there was like a little bit of history there. So when this came out, it was like, okay, this has legit science-y people involved in it.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like to have a level of realism for something like this.
Because if you go in and you read some of the production of this, these scientists that they had on as consultants kind of really kept Christopher Nolan from doing some of the stuff that he wanted to do. Like, he wanted to do things like faster than light travel, and they're like, no, you can't do that. That's not how the Force works.
Right.
So, they really had to ground him a little bit and kind of keep him as scientifically accurate as possible. And I think that really worked to the movie's benefit. But so you said that you did rewatch it over the weekend, right?
Yes.
Was this the first time you'd seen it since that initial watch?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So
it's been like 7 years since I've seen it. All
right. I'd be real curious to hear what you did end up coming around to.
And I couldn't fucking remember my Paramount Plus login, so I just said fuck it, and I bought it on Apple.
Oh, did you?
So, yeah. So I have it in the library.
He took the lazy way out.
I did. I took the lazy way out.
So instead of going through and resetting his fucking Paramount Plus password, he's like, nah, fuck it, I'll just buy the goddamn movie.
Do you understand? Like, it's not just resetting one password. It's like every TV in the fucking house, like everyone is watching it in the fucking house. My in-laws are watching it on one TV or another. Like, that means I have to go to every one of those fucking TVs and go log in for them. Like, I don't know why it's not working anymore. Right now, I got to go fucking log in for them. Like, nope. You know what? It's a good enough movie where I'm fine with owning it.
Yeah.
Because if there's parts of the movie where I'm like, hey, there's some reasonable, like, if I'm, let's say at some point that I'm teaching a class and I want to, like, all right, let's have a discussion about time dilation.
Oh, and
sure.
just
I could,
pull up a clip.
yeah, I could pull up a clip, and I own the movie on Apple, right? So I don't have to worry about fucking distribution rights or finding it on you. Ow. Finding
God damn, Dave, calm down.
gravity. Finding a clip on YouTube. Yeah. And so anyway, I just fucking bought it on Apple. It's like, fuck it.
Yeah, all right, I can respect that.
I paid $15 to the Evil Empire, and I fucking bought it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. So, before we get into more details of the movie, the thing that I probably loved the most about this fucking movie is the score by Hans Zimmer.
Okay.
I've been kind of on his nuts quite a bit over the last couple of years.
Right.
You may have noticed listening to the pod.
Right.
This fucking score was incredible. Like, the second I saw this movie for the first time, I immediately went onto my Apple device, which I also, pay the man for,
Right.
and downloaded the whole soundtrack onto my Apple Music. And I listened to that on a regular basis in the car, and I've been really ramping it up, getting ready for this episode of the podcast. But, dude, Hans Zimmer, I mean, he's no John Williams. Nobody will ever be John Williams. Let's just...
It's a given.
Yeah.
It's a given.
But once John retires after Indy 5, Hans Zimmer's probably going to be the best fucking... composer out there in Hollywood.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
he's phenomenal, and this soundtrack, he really brought it.
yeah, I don't have any issues at all with this soundtrack. We were kind of talking about Andor before we went live, and this what I really like about certain soundtracks is the fact that it doesn't necessarily, like, when I hear something that's like, oh man, that doesn't sound good, or like this sounds out of place. Like, if I don't hear something like that, and now I'm not thinking about the soundtrack, then that's good.
Yeah.
Like, especially from a classical score standpoint, because that's what's so hard to do.
Yeah. And of course, with this, he went away from a traditional classical score and went very, a lot of electrical sounds, a lot of organ in this.
So this, to me, it sounded like it had elements of like a 2001.
Yeah. A lot of influence from 2001, you could tell.
Yeah, like 2001, like a synth thing, like some of the Andor, like there was some elements where I heard, I was like, man, it sounded like something that Andor did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was good. It was, yeah, I don't have any problem at all with the score. Now, again, I'm not on Hans Zimmer's fucking nuts. Is that how you pronounce his name? Hans Zimmer?
I want to say Hans.
Hans Zimmer?
Hansel and Gretel.
Yes, Hans.
Hansel?
Hans Zimmer?
Hansel.
No. I'm not on his nuts like you are. So
Okay.
But yeah, it was good. The score was good.
All right, very good. So I wanted to read this paragraph, couple
On
of
the
paragraphs.
Wikipedia?
Yeah, on Wikipedia, not Wikipedia. Wikipedia.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and correct that spelling in the notes because that was driving me nuts.
What?
Well, it's corrected now. You spelled it wrong.
Wikipedia.
It's right now because I fixed it. Here.
No, there's no or E after I. It's not Wikipedia. It's Wikipedia.
Yeah, you had it like that.
With the IE?
Yes.
You just said you fixed it.
It's fixed now.
Oh, I'm looking at it on my iPad. This doesn't update automatically.
Smack ass.
My bad.
See what I have to deal with, folks?
The premise for Interstellar was conceived by producer Linda Obst. What a weird last name. OBST. Obst. Hansel and Gretel.
Obstetrician.
Yes, exactly. And theoretical physicist Kip Thorne, who collaborated on the film Contact,
Right.
as you mentioned before. And they have known each other since Carl Sagan set them up on a blind date.
Yep.
So the people who came up with this movie and Contact were set up on a date by fucking Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
The two conceived a scenario based on Thorne's work about the most...
Probably not all they conceived.
Indeed, ladies. The most exotic events in the universe suddenly becoming accessible to humans and attracted filmmaker Steven Spielberg's interest in directing. The film began development in June of 2006 when Spielberg and Paramount Pictures announced plans for a science fiction film based on an 8-page treatment written by Obst and Thorne. Obst was attached to produce by March 2007. Jonathan Nolan was hired to write the screenplay. Jonathan Nolan being the brother of Christopher Nolan.
Right.
He writes a lot of his movies, obviously. Nepotism. It's all the rave in Hollywood.
Like, it beats the other tisms.
well, those are also very popular in Hollywood, allegedly,
Allegedly.
depending on who you ask. So
Yes.
yeah, so to start off, Spielberg was attached
Right.
to fucking Interstellar, which I don't know how that would have worked out if it had been different, because one thing that I know Christopher Nolan really pushed was the practical effects. With the outer shots of the ships and then being in the cockpit, that's all like practical effects, as opposed to Spielberg, who probably would have just gone all CG.
In 14? I mean, probably. Yeah. I when we get to that part, which may be now, those practical effects, like especially as unrealistic as those ships were, we'll get to that. I like those exterior shots where it seems like you're kind of flying just out, like it's a camera angle just outside the ship. Very similar to what we were seeing like with Artemis, like and you're out on the solar panel looking at the capsule with the Earth and the moon in the background, like that kind of that imagery. I did like how they did that.
Yeah. Let me finish reading this development part. After Spielberg moved his production studio DreamWorks from Paramount to Walt Disney Studios in 2009, Paramount needed a new director for Interstellar. Jonathan Nolan recommended his brother, Christopher, who joined the project in 2012. Christopher Nolan met with Thorne, then attached as executive producer to discuss the use of space-time in the story. In January of 2013, Paramount and Warner Brothers announced that Christopher Nolan was in negotiation to direct Interstellar. Nolan said he wanted to encourage the goal of human spaceflight and intended to merge his brother's screenplay with his own. The following March, Nolan was confirmed to direct Interstellar, which would be produced under his label Syncope and Linda Obst Productions. The Hollywood Reporter said Nolan would earn a salary of $20 million against 20% of the total gross. To research for the film, Nolan visited NASA and the private space program at SpaceX. So he did his due diligence and he made $20 million. So it says a salary of $20 million against 20% of the gross. Now, does that mean 20% on top?
I don't fucking know.
What does that mean against?
I don't know.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Needless to say, though, Nolan made a shitload of money.
Yeah, I would expect that he would have made.
Yeah,
he would have made his money back when a $700 million movie.
Yep, and then there was a whole bunch of shit with Warner Brothers, like claiming a stake in and all that. But yeah, so ultimately it ended up going to Christopher Nolan as recommended by his brother because, again, Hollywood nepotism. It's a beautiful thing. So, quick rundown of the plot. To me, at its core, this movie is really about a father-daughter relationship. That's really the spine of the whole thing. It's, the story of this guy and his daughter who are in this fucked up situation and kind of how, ultimately he's going on this mission for her and for all of humanity, thinking and hoping that he's going to get back to her and her being resentful and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it really does feel like it's a story about a father-daughter. His son, forget the son, he's got his own little adventures. Fuck that kid. But he really misses his daughter, though. What?
I could really okay, cool.
So you didn't like that aspect of it?
I didn't. I guess I'm jaded to it for some reason.
Okay.
Like it's not
sentimental stuff, family bonds and all that. And it's just not your thing. All right, fair enough.
The guys at work, especially Q, the guy I work with, he would tell you that I give him shit constantly because he sees like the commercial that's on the NFL Network constantly about adopting a teen, and he's like, "Oh, well, look how heartwarming that commercial is." And look at how happy that makes people, and it makes him want to adopt a teen. I'm like, who the fuck wants to adopt a teen?
Not me.
Like, no, God.
I'm trying to sell the teens that live in my house at the moment.
Like anybody who has had teenagers does not want to, and he has teenagers. I don't know. You're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
I've got a friend.
I see him. He's not, unless he followed me back inside. He is not the guy I flicked out earlier.
All right.
He's gonna fly right into your fucking beard.
I know. I'm just waiting for him to like jump onto my fucking
You
face.
you should try and cup him and get him the hell out of here.
Yeah, he's fine.
Here, put him on put a piece of tape or something. Trap him on a piece of tape.
I'm not gonna do that.
Come on, it's riveting for the fucking.
They have no idea what we're even fucking talking about.
Jason has a stink bug on his fucking pop filter.
I don't want him to like shoot his stink out or whatever.
Well, don't squeeze the shit out of him.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
It's adhesive, Jason.
Eh,
Oh my god.
Really?
Really?
Fuck, whatever. Can we get back with the show, please?
What were we talking about?
Interstellar. So the basic gist of the movie is Earth is fucked, right?
Yeah.
We're like 60-ish years in the future, and there's a fucking blight that's going on that's killing all of the fucking food and
In the
these
United States.
Well, it's the whole world. It's global.
In the United States. Do we ever see the rest of the world in any of this?
No, but they basically insinuate that the Earth's population is
Right.
like fucking decimated,
They're
and it's a small community of humans that are still left alive.
Insinuating.
Yeah.
But never show you the rest of the planet.
Well, no, because
Never show anybody else from the rest of the planet. Like, look, I'm an American. Fucking yay, America, right?
Yeah.
But
we are the best.
This was, to me, one of the things where this movie kind of started to go horribly wrong.
I mean, this is the beginning. We're talking to the very fucking beginning.
Straight in the fucking beginning. It's like, okay, the world is coming to an end. There's no place on Earth that can do anything. You can only grow corn in the Midwestern United States. The rest of the planet, fucked.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Hang on. There's more than one climate. Like, this isn't a Star Wars planet.
Right.
Okay? There's more than one climate on this planet. We haven't, like, it's a blight. It's not like the Earth has shifted its orbit. Like, the poles haven't fucking changed.
Poles.
Like, no, nothing like that. We're just gonna basically fog the Earth with some fucking blight. We'll only show it from the United States perspective.
Right.
And
Well, because again, we're left to assume that the people that are alive here in this one location are it.
right.
Everybody else is fucking starved to death at this point.
No, you can't even get there from the fucking little bits that we see.
All right.
Where are they getting the resources to build all this fucking shit?
You don't use food to build rocket ships.
Jason, I can't even begin to tell you how many parts of that fucking statement are wrong. The amount of the amount of molecules that made up the syllables of that fucking word do not have enough to fucking tell you how wrong that fucking statement is.
Well, enlighten me then.
Because it takes logistics. It takes logistics to build a giant fucking space station that ultimately is going to go into fucking space with solving this gravity equation. All right. That one fucking old man, like, has everyone snowed over because he's apparently the last fucking physicist on Earth.
I mean, besides some of these younger kids at NASA, he might be.
I didn't buy it.
Okay.
It's straight away. It was just like, God. For me, I've seen and read too many good novelizations and good science fiction that involves how do we have a premise like this that affects the entirety of the planet and how it would affect the entirety of the planet and what kind of timelines we are talking about to make things like this happen. This was not realistic to me and immediately set me off into my suspension of disbelief is automatically off the rails, right? So, continue.
All right. So yeah, Earth is fucked. Now, one thing that I wrote in here too is that they kept this movie. You gotta remember, this is 2014. This is before everybody lost their fucking minds when it comes to politics. They kept the movie very apolitical.
Which is ridiculous, right? Even in 2014, we were probably thinking, man, people are so political. And now we're sitting back going like, man, people were sane back then.
Yeah. Way back in 2014 when everything was fucking normal. But yeah, no, if this movie was...
That's such an insane statement.
But it's fucking true at the same time.
I know.
Because, if this movie got made today, it would include basically 45 minutes of them lecturing us about the climate change, global warming, and all that.
And there's no fucking way it would only be the United States involved in it.
Yeah.
ESA would be involved. Like,
I'm just saying, like, if the movie was made today, it would probably be a 2.5 hour lecture about fucking global warming. So thankfully, they kept it from. Oh. Whoops.
No.
Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Whoops. I'm like, what's going on? I was on the wrong page because of the Colt 45. Are you okay?
Oh, be so horny.
How dare you?
I think that's what I was supposed to hit.
Yes, that's what you were supposed to hit. This is the perfect time for that. The one time we've actually are saying something that's appropriate for the use of that, and you hit me so horny.
I was on the wrong page.
Fucking perfect. Oh, I love it. Anyway.
So yeah. So,
so horny.
So Matthew McConaughey and his family are all farmers, farming corn because at the start of the movie, the last of the okra dies off, which, you know, that kind of hit me a little close to home because growing up, my mom and my grandmother both like made fried okra all the time. And that shit was so good because my grandmother and her family, they're all from like the Arkansas area, southern kind of thing. And, you know, the fried okra, it's good shit. And then to see that it's the last harvest of okra ever in this version of Earth was
so
sad face.
Okay. I'm not even. Does okra grow in the same fucking ground as corn?
That I don't know.
I mean, just seems weird.
Yeah.
To like in the same region, in the same ground.
Well, I mean, so again, I am under the impression that the last of humanity is isolated in this area. It's whatever people are left, like this is it. This community, this fucking elementary school that he goes to with his fucking daughter and all that. I feel like that's the elementary school.
No, but why do they give a shit about like? So he goes to fucking school to a parent teachers conference.
Yes.
If there's only a few thousand people left, who the fuck gives a shit about parent teacher conferences? This is about survival. They're like, why? And then have this parent teachers conference have textbooks that fucking have that trash that this is all right. We're getting down to the crux of why I don't like this movie. And it's this whole thing with fucking hot elementary school teacher basically saying that, oh, wow, yeah, these textbooks say that we didn't land on the moon because it was a propaganda thing and it was very effective, but like,
like
that's when Matthew McConaughey should have taken that textbook and like rammed it right into her fucking right between her eyes, and just like she's been bleeding, and then he just stomped the shit out of her because there's only a few thousand people left on the planet. It should be lawlessness, chaos.
They're working for the better of humanity.
No, they're not.
Well, and and you can tell that he's frustrated as hell by the way she's saying that she thinks that the moon landing was faked and all of that because he flew for NASA and he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he seemed like he wanted to do all of those things that you just described.
I don't know how you just don't stand up and flip the table. I don't know if the world is that hopeless and you're the last of humanity in Kansas or wherever the fuck you are in the United States, which I don't know why that particular latitude of the United States, it happens to be the last part of the world, and it's not something to do with the fucking some nuclear holocaust. Like, I can't get there. I can't get my optics to get focused on this one area where okra grows in the same ground as fucking corn. I can't, Jason, I can't do it. I can't fucking get there.
Well, what makes you think that they wouldn't grow in the same kind of ground? Like, I've never grown okra and or corn before, so I don't know. They could, like, use the same type of soil.
So, okay. We, up by the base, right? You drive through dozens of cornfields, right?
Right. Now, we're using New Jersey as an example. And
I'm talking about everywhere.
All right.
Corn is everywhere. It is prolific in this country.
That's probably why it was the last crop alive in this fucking movie.
Because everyone knows what corn is, right? corn is very resource intensive in the ground,
Okay.
right? So you have to do a lot you have to do stuff to the soil to basically re-enrich the soil, right? This is kind of like a basic farming premise. So in order to get consistent corn crops, you have to grow other things in between that. One of the things you do here is you grow soy.
Okay.
Like, so when you're driving by a cornfield and you see like something low, like a low growing crop, kind of looks like leafy.
Yeah.
That's all soy. What they're doing is they're growing soy to re-nitrogenate, put nitrogen into the fucking ground that the corn has taken out. So you have to have
it's regulating. It's basically regulating the soil.
So you have to have so many soy cycles per corn cycles in order to be able to farm consistently the same ground.
Yeah, I get it.
So I would, if they had said soy and not okra, then I would be like, makes sense.
Well,
Makes sense to
but
me.
then we'd have been really fucked. But I guess in this soy is already gone, so we're fucked anyway.
I don't. But that's the thing. Like, you can't keep growing corn in infamy. You just can't, because corn would do what it did. Like, corn just turns everything into dirt eventually, and you just don't have the nutrients to keep growing corn.
Oh, hence the Dust Bowl and the massive dust storms they were getting.
Yeah, you can't just keep growing corn. That fucking stink bug is going to fly into your open mouth.
He's fine. That's Jim.
All right, Jim. Like I said, the beginning of this movie, right? The whole bit with the fucking kids and the fucking farming and all the other, this is where I had issues with this fucking movie.
Okay.
Right. Fast forward to the fucking science parts, and I'm better.
Okay.
But
So what about the gravitational anomalies at this point between the ghost, Murphy's ghost, the what else? I think they were insinuating that the gravitational anomalies brought down that fucking Turkish drone, and then also eventually led them to learning the coordinates to NASA.
well, I
mean, obviously we know.
I think the Turkish drone just ran out of, it just got low to the point of where it was going to, like, it had cells, and he had actually said something to the point of where it's like, oh, these can stay airborne for such and such determined amount of time because of the energy that can store in their solar cells. So, and that's why he wanted to fucking pilfer it. And somehow he managed to hack the fucking drone.
Science.
Yeah. In a moving vehicle going through the cornfield that's so precious. But we're going to drive through these fucking fields.
Fuck all this corn.
Fuck you, fuck your corn. I'm going to burn this unbelievable amount of fucking diesel fuel.
Yeah.
Which apparently they must have a lot of.
Sidebar. How high do you think the suicide rate is in a society like that? When you wake up, you're 35 years old and you wake up and, I wonder what's for breakfast. Oh, right, corn again.
Corn.
Like I had for breakfast every day for the last 35 fucking years. Oh, what's for lunch? Corn.
Or
Dinner? Corn.
You're flipping the cups and
Oh, yeah,
bowls
flipping
and
everything
shit
upside
over
down so
because
it doesn't
there's
get covered
so
in
much
dust.
dirt in there.
Yeah.
Let's just move on from that. What I'm going to tell you is, like, I'm going to save the gravitational anomalies. I want to talk more about that when we get to the when he's on the other side of the den.
Okay.
And we can talk about that when it gets there.
All right. So, and then of course this all brings about the Lazarus missions that we find out, where it was 10 years prior to the events in this movie, they sent 12 astronauts out through this wormhole that they discovered over by Saturn,
Discovered.
Well, yeah.
I think it would be pretty easy to discover.
So this is my first issue with the movie. So again, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet. So this fucking, like, these gravitational anomalies, the fucking wormhole, all placed there by future humans, essentially, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
They don't really flesh that all the way out. I mean, they all the current people, like present day, air quote, Dust Bowl humans know is that they didn't put it there.
Right.
That's the only thing they can say definitively is like, we didn't put that fucking thing there.
Right. So my thoughts are, all right, so if you're going to do it, if you put this wormhole there to save humanity because you know they're dying, why not put it next to Mars? And instead of having it just go to some random spot in another galaxy where there's 12 potential worlds we can go, put it right beside the fucking world that is the most habitable. You know, if you've got all this fucking technology and this ability, just fucking make it a little bit easier as opposed to...
Because that's not how the Force works, Jason.
I guess not.
It's, yeah. Yeah.
But that was...
All the way out to Saturn.
Yeah.
Which...
So they had to trudge 2 years to fucking Saturn.
Yeah, so do we want to talk about that?
Sure.
So, we're talking... There's a lot of... when we start talking about the science of this, a lot of the concepts that we're going to talk about when it talks to time dilation and relativity, like special relativity, relativity and general relativity, things like that. You're talking about speeds that would be required that these ships obviously are not attaining.
No.
So you have... This is another place where it took Dave straight out of it. Like, these ships that you're like, okay, you're taking some premises that like, okay, we launch out of this fucking ship. All right, from an underground secret base, right? We have a fucking launch.
Yep.
Because I guess it's fueled by corn, I guess. I don't know.
I mean,
where are you getting the oxidizers for this fucking rocket ship? Like, and how heavy is this fucking thing? Like, how much? Like,
oh, I'm sure it's very heavy.
yeah. So what? Anyway, so we get this thing to space, and it docks up with this what was it? What was the name of the fucking?
Oh fuck! I knew what it was too.
Anyway, it docks up with that other, basically that other system. So that,
yeah, the big ship, the one that's actually going to transport them, and it's
Right.
got all the fucking cargo on it. And
yeah,
everything.
it's got their supplies, and it actually has some rotation to it, which gives them some a percentage of gravity.
Endurance. The endurance.
The endurance,
is
right?
The big ship.
And that's where their fucking sleeping fucking cells were.
Yeah.
So they can go fucking take naps in their fucking body bags.
Yeah.
Ugh. No, thank you.
Oh yeah, no. I'm like watching these contraptions that they get into, the fucking body bag, then it dunks them underwater, so you probably feel like you're getting waterboarded. Then this big fucking metal door closes. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah,
I'd be like, get me the fuck out of here right now.
Can you? Well, okay, and this is why we would never be those people, right? Because they're like, you have to be willing to fucking. All right, I'm going to be in this confined space forever.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Well,
So
thankfully you're sleeping, but goddamn,
but
like,
even with that though,
that would be the most anxiety riddled fucking few minutes before I fall asleep I'd ever have in my life.
But you think about like the amount of space that they really have, right? So how big are these ships? Like people, one thing that when you're seeing this on the screen, even it's like, wow, these ships must have been big. I don't think so. I think what you're looking at, the actual living quarters in a space like this, is something probably akin to the space shuttle.
Yeah.
Where they had 7 people crammed into a space that probably from a square footage perspective was smaller than this room. So that is not a lot of space.
No.
That you're going to spend decades in of your life.
Yeah.
So, good thing it has nice views. But saying that, nice views for a little bit until you get out into fucking deep space when there's views of utter blackness.
Yeah.
Because there ain't a fucking thing for fuck all. Because that's what deep space is. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, nothing. Anyway, the ships don't, to me, like, they spent too much time talking about this fake Earth problem and put you in a cool looking ship, right? Really cool for the movie, but lacks in some fundamentals that I think would be required, and then never addresses a speed issue for like, okay, we're going to tell you how long it's going to take you to get to Saturn using what present day us type timelines to get out there.
Right.
But if you were really needing to get out and do the things that you're doing once you get through the wormhole, you need to be much closer to the fucking speed of light, like orders of magnitude faster than what they're going, and they can't accomplish that in the ships that they're doing it.
Right. I love too how when they fucking dock. First of all of these outer shots, and this kind of like starts getting into the Nolan's style and what he was doing with this movie. Like all of the outer space shots, I thought were so just brilliantly done. First of all, it's all practical effects that you can tell they're using like models. It's not CG. It's all, it's basically 1977 Star Wars type outer shots with fucking detailed models and everything. And I love how whenever you see one of those exterior shots, it's silent. Like the ship doesn't make noise at all when you're looking at it from the outside because space, vacuum, no sound.
Right.
I thought that was really well done. I loved all of the exterior shots as he's trying to like dock and everything. And then when we get to the real docking scene later, we'll get to that. But just even watching when they're first docking with that was really, really neat. And then when it starts spinning, and they start spinning the fucking endurance to generate the gravity. And sometimes that was a little disorienting when they'd show those shots from inside the ship and you just see fucking Earth just spinning like between the Earth and space, and you're just like, God damn. It can be pretty disorienting. And then I fucking love, right? They get in, they get all bedded down, they're like fucking spin. All right, we're ready to go. Let's start the engine. Let's go. And then you see this outer shot of Earth, and then their ship, and it's just going. So, it's like building up, like, oh yeah, we're gonna start hauling ass off to Saturn, and then
Which
that's realistic though.
Yeah, in fairness, like, hence think of the shots we saw today. Again, I'll refer to the Artemis shots that you could look on YouTube today. And as they're flying towards the moon, doing 4,700 miles per hour, look at how slow the moon is approaching. And that, because even though you're going 4,700 miles per hour, such a small percentage of what you need for the speed of light that's really, you're moving fast. You're hauling the mail for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But that's really
such a fraction of the actual distance.
Yeah, when you're talking such expanses and such durations that you need to be going much faster. Must go faster.
Yep. And we haven't really talked about the cast yet, but Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
And at first, when I first realized it was him as the main character, the NASA pilot,
right?
I'm like, I don't know if I can really get into Matthew McConaughey as a fucking NASA pilot. He doesn't come off as that bright in most cases, but no, he pulled it off. I think he was just fine for the role.
He was fine.
I had no issues with his performance. And again, his relationship with Murphy, his daughter, I thought was really well done between him and all versions of Murphy that we see throughout the movie. Anne Hathaway. I mean, it's Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Like normally I would say, I mean, can't go wrong with Anne Hathaway. I'll take her any which way you want to throw her at me. But a certain person who also lives in my house, who is also female, is of the opinion that Anne Hathaway is a quote-unquote dog. She had all kinds of adjectives to describe Anne Hathaway, and none of them were pleasant sounding.
Wow.
She was raking her over the coals pretty heavily.
Huh.
When we were watching this.
What did she think of Anne Hathaway and Les Mis?
I mean, I'm sure she likes her acting, but just from an attractive perspective, she thinks she's one of the ugliest people to walk the earth, which I don't get. I think Anne Hathaway is fucking gorgeous.
Right.
Even in this movie when she had like the short boy haircut, I still think she looked fucking great. I mean,
it's Anne Hathaway. This is 8 years ago. She was like, what? This was at one of her peaks, I think.
This is close to the Devil Wears Prada time.
Look, I'm sensing a theme.
Oh, is this in the chat?
Yeah.
What? I think it's just jealousy. That's what I think it is. I think all these women that are talking shit about Anne Hathaway, yeah, I think they're just jealous. That's all. So,
Kristen, I want to know what you thought of Anne Hathaway in Les Mis. Just for context, and you can post that in the chat.
yeah.
We don't have to dwell on it.
So she was born in 82, so she's 40 now, Anne Hathaway. So she would have been 32 during this movie. So, and then again at the peak of her, she played Catwoman in the last Dark Knight movie. So obviously Christopher Nolan's going to use her again in his next movie. So he liked her.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Here's my problem with Anne Hathaway in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
She's not believable as a scientist.
No,
like, it has nothing to do with her being pretty or anything else. Because Lord knows that between NASA and SpaceX and everything else, there's plenty of just really attractive, super super smart women that are in the industry right now. And thank God, we need more of them in STEM.
Sure,
hands down, no bullshit. Dave advocating. However, like I really think that they needed to get her away from, hey, I'm checking the temperature of the eggs and sperm, and more into let's talk about some real science, and have her talk more about the science and maybe some more of the physics and less about
love, how love is attracting me too.
Right. And the crazy the crazy black guy who fucking gets left up in the spacecraft while they're down on the fucking water planet getting up in
23 years, which we're gonna get into that
in the tidal waves.
Yeah. Okay, so Dave doesn't like her in the movie. Women don't like her at all. Got it.
That's what I thought the response was going to be, for the record.
For the audio listeners, Kristen's response was she was fine in Les Mis because she played somebody who was dying of pox.
That's exactly what I thought you were saying.
That's fucked up. I thought the performance of the young actress Mackenzie Fox, who played young Murphy, was pretty fantastic for a little 11-year-old kid. And I'm going to talk about it here when we get into the things that we like about the movie. I thought the scene with her trying to convince him to stay and not go on the fucking on the mission was just brilliantly done. Really, really good scene. So yeah, I liked her performance. And then the other versions of Murphy, be it the Jessica Chastain as middle-aged Murphy or the old woman, they were fine. Yeah, good. And then fuck you, iPad. What? Stop. We had the Matt Damon cameo.
Matt Damon.
I knew you were gonna say it like that too. I had no idea he was in this movie, and I think it was meant to be kept under wraps. That it was like a surprise cameo in this, because I had no fucking clue. And then when they pull him out of that fucking sleep chamber, I'm like, oh shit. So
yeah, he's
oh yeah, and we're gonna talk about his character and some of the
such a prick.
Yeah. And then, of course, we had the fucking robots, Case and Tars.
Yeah.
Which I thought they were great. I love those fucking, especially Tars.
What I liked, what I did like about the interaction, the conceptually, the design of these robots, I think didn't make any sense to me.
No, it seems a little impractical, but they did do all practical effects with the robot effects. So they were all like puppets and shit.
So it was probably easier to do because, hey, look here, there's fucking, it's basically, I could have made those out of Lego.
Yeah.
Much. Oh, here's
with 5 pieces.
Yeah. Here's 3 pivot points and a fucking, put a screen in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the interactions with the personality, what's your percentage of honesty?
Yeah, the 90%.
Yeah, apparently not as much as yours. Yeah, it's that. Those actually, I enjoyed that. Little bit of that comic relief that you got from.
Yeah, well, from both of them, because Case is not as prominent, but he's got one great line where Matthew McConaughey is like, you don't talk much, do you? He's like, Tars talks enough for the both of us.
Right. Yeah.
So
no, I liked both their characters.
Yeah. I thought the robots were fucking phenomenal. So we're not going to go through the movie scene by scene like we would normally do. We're just I've picked some discussion points. Dave's picked some discussion points, and we're just going to kind of go through those. And then we're going to get into like things we liked about the movie and things we disliked about the movie. Through all of this, we're probably going to discuss every major scene in the movie. One of the first big things I want to talk about is this big moral bombshell that we have thrown at us towards the end of the movie. And that's when Professor Brand, Michael Caine's character, who I honestly didn't like his performance. Of all the performances in this movie, I didn't like Michael Caine, which I know a lot of people think would be blasphemy because, oh, he's this great actor, blah, blah, blah. I didn't like. Half of it was just, it's hard to fucking understand him sometimes. I'm sorry, especially when he's on his deathbed and he's like, I lied. You know, what? I can't understand you. But yeah, no, essentially as he's dying, he reveals that there was no plan A because the whole bill of goods that they sold to Cooper, what the fuck was that? Did you hear that?
It was a pop of something.
Okay, that was weird. Anyway, the whole bill of goods that they sold to Cooper to get him to fly on the mission was that there's a plan A and a plan B. Plan A is you find which planet is good, you come back to Earth, and we fucking send all the humans in this spaceship that we've been building with the gravity equation.
Right.
To go live there. And then plan B is, oh, you can't make it back. Well, here's all these fucking fertilized embryos. They're all frozen. We got these fucking incubators. Just stay on the planet, repopulate the human race.
Right.
Good to go. That's plan B. Well, apparently plan A was never really a thing. And Michael Caine knew.
But apparently it was close enough to a thing that it was doable with the
right information.
with this, like, all right,
the data from the black hole, basically.
Right.
Which he just assumed he was never going to get, so he kind of gave up on the whole fucking thing, and it's just like, it's really only plan B.
Right.
And, you know, you can think about that what you will, but then when they're talking about it with Matt Damon, and he's like, yeah.
Matt Damon.
He's like, you know, the professor knew that you'd never be able to get all the rest of humanity to work together to fucking make this happen just for the betterment of the species. Because at the end of the day, people have that survival instinct, which that becomes a major theme once you get to Matt Damon's character, is the whole survival, the human survival. That's like the thing that keeps us going and all that. And you wouldn't get the people on Earth to cooperate if they thought that they were going to die. So he basically lied to them in order to get them to work together, build these ships so that, you know, they could make plan B happen on another planet. And I gotta say, I kind of agree with the professor on this. You know, I think he did the right thing, because I would be much more inclined to protect the species and ensure humanity carries on, as opposed to, you know, telling these people the truth and have it all just go up in flames.
Yeah, it's an interesting moral dilemma that shouldn't be left in the hands of one person.
Right.
And I think that's really what it comes down to. It's like, okay, if he's the scientist, right? And he says, look, we can solve this equation. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Like, but internally, he's basically making this decision for everybody.
Right. Well, now see, but here's the thing though, because Matt Damon knew. He's like, yeah, your father solved this equation before we ever left, and realized, it was folly. So maybe it was between him and those 12 other scientists.
Maybe
they made the decision collectively. They didn't really get into the details of that, but I mean, honestly, because he was the old scientist that had been around since the old days,
or maybe he told. They don't really get into it, but he could have told, because they were transmitting information but couldn't receive.
Yes.
Or Earth was transmitting, but not receiving from any of the stations. Right.
Right.
So the doctor could have very well easily been like, once the time had expired, like, all right, man should be stuck on the planet right about now. So I'm just going to send him I'm going to send him a secret message in uncharted space. Mm-hmm. And he's either going to go nuts now that I have some information, or he's going to fucking save the world.
Yeah.
But regardless. And
speaking of which, like, Dr. Mann made just a completely immoral decision with his fucking transmitting of the fake data from his planet. Now that's the one that like that's like just 100%. Like that was fucked up. That he, you know, he knew he was gonna die, and he sent the false information so he'd get rescued. And watching it the second time after finding that out, you watch him after they fucking pull him out of the thing, and he's got the heat blanket over him and everything, and he's like, well, what about the other planets? And they're like, nah, you're the only one. He's like, fuck. You can see the look on the face. Like, and now knowing after the fact that he fucking lied.
Yeah, unfortunately, because when I rewatched it, I kind of had an idea that he was up to some fuckery. I don't remember exactly what was going on, but like I saw the pile of fucking Kip.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
the
like,
other robot.
oh, that's right. Yeah, he's pulling a fast one, and then he fucking steals a ship and fucking blows everything up.
Yeah, and watching this the first time, because this is so fresh still in my memory, from the minute they pull him out, and I'm just like, something seems off, you know? And then
It was the pile of fucking robot.
Right.
It's really what it's like, okay, this is where your cover story this is where everyone has to go like, all right.
Because they even asked, oh, do you want us to fix him? He's like, no, don't worry about it.
No, I'm worried about his archival data being fucking damaged. And we're like, well, I'll supervise. Like,
yeah.
and he's kind of like, okay. Yeah, I get it. Like, eccentric because you've been, I don't know, stuck on this planet forever.
Yeah, I think they said 2 years. He had 2 years of life support. And then he went into the hibernation.
Right. So, I mean, I saw the pile of robot, and I'm like, no. If he had said, oh, what happened to him? And like, I had to fucking take him apart because my heaters were done. I needed parts. So I sacrificed them.
That would have been more believable.
Parts.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, fuck, dude. You got to stay warm. It's fucking cold out there.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Not like, oh, yeah, by the way, there's perfectly breathable, fucking livable climate below us, but I'm still up here. What?
Yeah.
Like, why? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, here's all my fake data. Look at how shiny it is.
Yeah. And it's like every minute that goes by that they're with him, I would just more and more, I'm just like, this doesn't seem right. And then of course, as they're walking out to that fucking crevice, and he's like he's having that big monologue about seeing your kids right before you die, and you know, the human instinct. And the reason why they couldn't send robots was because robots don't have that survival instinct that humans have. And I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good point. You know, because humans will fight to the bitter end to not die, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll take themselves to the brink.
Yeah, fight or flight is something that you can't. It's interesting because my graduate work, right, is part of that.
Yeah,
is stuff like fight or flight, and how you use fight or flight in those parts of your brain. How we use that to be better at reacting towards things like emergencies in aircraft and stuff like that. So, like harnessing things that are happening in our subconscious much faster than it would if we were trying to actually process them.
sure. Yeah,
And doing stuff like that. That's not something that a computer, you need to take so many inputs, and a computer is very, very good at doing that, is taking all those inputs and trying to make that decision and then process it based on this amount of criteria. And what they're trying to do with AI right now is they're trying to facilitate how a decision like that could be made. But it's so personality, like our programming is so based on our individual experiences, like our individual programming level, for lack of a better term, is based on how we were raised and our experiences. So
I think there's some instinct in there too. I think humans do have instincts.
But even with that instinct, though, there's some individual coding basically that's happening, and it's how you are using that particular instinct. That's why you can take two people, and I can train both those people to be fighter pilots, but only one of them is going to be better than the other.
Sure,
at doing it. And some of it's going to be genetics.
Yeah.
And some of it's just going to be their upbringing to that point is going to make them have more exposure to it, right? And this, like I said, this is part of my graduate work. So
yeah, but it's relevant to this conversation.
Yeah. So it's a fascinating fascinating thing.
All right, so let's pivot a little bit and talk about some of the science of the movie, because I know this is the stuff that you really want to get into.
Right.
And let's start with general relativity. So now, I didn't do my research, so I don't know what the difference is between general relativity and special relativity, but relativity comes into play when you talk about the time dilation and when they go to the first planet, Dr. Miller's planet, the water planet, which is orbiting around a fucking black hole, which so many questions about that. Like, how is a single planet like fucking orbiting this goddamn black hole, and where is it? I guess black holes do generate heat and light.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we know they generate light,
Yeah.
right? Because we've seen it.
Well, yeah. Oh, and that's another thing. Like, we need to talk about the whole black holes and their interpretation of a black hole in this movie versus what we actually got to see in real life a few years back.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
how it was pretty accurate.
Yeah, astrophysicists actually pretty much nailed it, like
Yeah.
what it actually looks like, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Why is this relevant? Why is this suddenly relevant? Like, this is it.
They just felt like bringing it up.
I'm ignoring the chat for the next
Yeah.
several minutes.
Yeah. So
So all right. So first off, general relativity. So special.
hang on. You've got one on your right shoulder.
Do I really?
Like, yeah, a little bit farther back.
It's not even.
Was that the same guy? Oh, he must have flew over to you.
It's not even the right time of year for you fuckers.
Yeah, I know. You'd think they'd frozen off by now. Sorry, we're being invaded by stink bugs. I saw it crawling on Dave. I'm like, I should probably tell him.
Yes.
Anyway, relativity.
So yeah, special relativity. Special relativity, easy for me to say, was something that Einstein came up with in 1905 as part of his basically his year of fucking ultimate genius, where he basically came up with special relativity and how fucking basically tells us how light works.
Yeah.
All came about in the same times. So the difference, like special relativity and general relativity, special relativity is getting us to where time dilation is, like and how things are going to shrink. When they're going
So smooth.
it's when you start getting into the speed of light and they actually get smaller, or at how time actually starts slowing down
Yeah.
as you get closer to those speeds, and why, like, from they're using different perspectives, right? Just like the word relativity, right? Whereas I'm standing there looking at you going by on a train, I look at you and you're going by at the same speed as the train, right? So you're going like 60 miles an hour. Whereas if you're on the train looking at the person sitting next to you, it doesn't look like you're moving at all.
Right.
So this is like the basics of relativity. General relativity is more about like you have this imagery of the Earth sitting in this, in gravity, in a plane where it like sits and it kind of creates this bowl around it, and it like gravity itself kind of pulls down, which it's a two-dimensional image that is used, but so it's not really accurate, but it's a good way of looking at how the mass of an object is actually affecting gravity
Yeah.
and pulling it down. This is how gravitational lensing came out and everything else. That came out with Einstein's general relativity, and that was, I think, in 1915, I think.
How the fuck do you know this?
So anyway, there's subtleties in the differences, and what Einstein was talking about really was more about light and with one, and energy with another.
Okay.
So when we're talking about some of the things with gravity, like when you say relativity, there's definitely two distinct things when you're talking about relativity.
Right.
So, but for purposes of the movie, like we're talking very specifically about this world that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, the one that's on the outer edges of a black hole.
Yeah, so
and
there's
it's affected by the black hole's gravity.
so you have water world, right? So you're walking around in this 18 inches of water, right? And so they land in it, and you see this giant wave that approaches them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And there doesn't seem to be any landmass, and initially your thinking is like, well, fuck, this is like a tsunami wave, right?
Yeah.
The problem with that is that a tsunami is made by the movement of tectonic plates on the earth.
Right, which is why whenever there's an earthquake in Japan, they fucking sound the tsunami alarm.
Right, because there's and in order for a tsunami wave to get made, it actually sucks in water, like it pulls water in to make the height of that wave.
Yeah.
Right. So because you see this giant wave and you don't actually see the depth of that water change, what you're actually seeing is a no kidding tidal wave.
Right, right.
So the fact that this basically what they very smartly did, and it's very subtle unless you're really thinking about the science of it, like understanding that how the tides work, right, and what tidal influences like the moon has on us, right? So like, how does that work? So how does it, how the tides work?
I recall having explained to me once years ago. I could not regurgitate it to save my life.
The biggest thing is like people think the tides come in and out, right? Like the water is actually moving in and out. Well, that's not actually what's happening. So what the water is stationary on the planet, and then there's a bulge that the planet is actually rotating underneath.
Okay.
So that tidal, because we're tidally locked with the moon is basically pulling that kind of bulge around with it, and now the Earth is moving with it.
Gotcha.
So that tidal bulge is something that we saw visually with this, 500-foot tall wave in this movie, right? So you're getting this you have this massive gravity flux, right, from this black hole, which may or may not be feasible, but
sure,
you have an actual tidal wave where you can have something like that,
which by the way,
it's very spiky. It's too like spiky is a word I heard. I watched a thing Neil deGrasse Tyson had been talking about it, and he used the word spiky, and it makes sense because a tidal wave is more like
it's not wide. It's just like a tall, thin band.
Tidal waves should be more of a
whoop. But the scene because she's like looking through the wreckage of the ship that landed there, and she's like, I'm running towards the mountains. He's like, those aren't mountains, they're waves, and it was the wave that was moving away from them. And Matthew McConaughey sit there, thinks for a second. He's like, let me just go take a peek out the other side.
Yes.
Looks at the back of the ship and just looks up and up and up, and you see that big fucking wave. And all I can think of when I'm watching that scene is that must have looked fucking incredible in IMAX, because they filmed this, with an IMAX camera.
Right.
I'm like, watching that in IMAX must have been
especially
a
if you're
jaw-dropping moment.
like true IMAX with the big fucking tall screen on it too.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So anyway, but I digress.
Yeah. So that's how we get rid of one fucking dude.
Yeah.
That guy didn't make it.
But yeah, so and this is where the time dilation comes into play.
So because of this, the gravity with the intensity of the gravity, and one of the things Einstein had proven was with large gravitational force, time slows down.
Yeah.
Right. So the larger the gravitational force,
and that is apparently
the more it slows down.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's apparently been proven.
Yes.
In with Earth and even with our satellites.
Yes.
How it's like a fraction of a second off, but it's still enough to where they have to make a correction.
Yeah. So
with like the GPS satellites.
Yeah, GPS satellites. They actually, I'm pretty sure they use cesium as the. So
that sounds like a made up word.
No,
cesium.
It's an atomic element.
Okay.
So they use basically the decay of the cesium atom to.
Sorry, I just saw what Dragon Buddy said. Dave knows about bulges.
Dave knows it. So smart.
So smooth.
So
My penis so smooth.
So funny thing about radioactive material, right? You know that the decay rate at pretty fucking spot on. You know exactly how much it decays, and you can use that as a clock.
Yep.
So you're with the timing of those things, like you can look at it, those atomic clocks. We used to get our timing before we went and flew. We'd call up the U.S. Naval Observatory master clock at the tone, right? That atomic clock is what's synchronizing everything else. So the GPS satellites are basically they have, for lack of a better term, an algorithm that's built in that compensates for the timing difference
Yeah.
based on their difference in gravity.
Yeah.
And it's so they've built clocks that are so sensitive. Fact is, I know that they've done it with I think they did it with an aluminum, like an aluminum, either aluminum atom or aluminum ion, that was so like that it was so sensitive that clock, they had one clock sitting like here, like on the table. They raised the other clock a foot above it, and it showed a difference in time.
Wow.
Like-
Just because of that slight difference in gravity?
That 1 foot
Wow.
of difference. Like that's how much it can change. And they've proven this not only like it's effective with the GPS satellites. I mean, we use those every day. They've actually I forget the name of the scientists. This is fucking science from too long ago. I know they did experiments in planes where they did the same thing. They basically like they had a stationary clock, atomic clock, and they put one on an airplane, they flew it up at altitude, did some corrections, did the math, did the corrections, and found out correcting for relativity, they were able to actually do this. So the idea that gravity affecting time was definitely a real thing. Now, the amount of gravity that we're talking about here to make these time dilations like effective, I think I haven't done the math, right? I'm not a physicist, and I don't want to be one because there's way too much fucking math. But I feel like that these numbers are like this. We're on
the 7 years per hour.
Right. I feel like because I know that just based on speed. Now, if we're talking about speed and how close you get to the speed of light, right? If we're using speed and we're looking at that as your like on this axis, right, and your percentage to get to the speed of light. The faster you get to the speed of light, there's also that's time dilation with that, right? So, but you have to get to speeds that are insane, right? The speeds that we're talking about, if you were correcting, like you're talking billionths of a second, like it's infinitesimal, like it's something that it's almost impossible to record without like at an atomic level. Like you're using quantum theory to fucking account for these things.
Yeah.
So now gravitationally, with using those calculations, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know how accurate it is. I mean, it makes great for like if we're looking at this from, hey, let me show you a demonstration that this exists, then cool. But if you do the actual math on it, I don't know that it adds up. But it is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like it is definitely something that
It's hard to wrap your mind around it when you're not, ingrained in the whole astrophysics, relativity, and all of that, because it's like I'm trying to just like think about it practically. Like, how would that work? Because when it comes to the movie, they park the fucking the big ship outside of the planet and kind of outside the black hole as well, so it's not affected by the time dilation. And they take the fucking lander in, land and do their business and get the fuck out. At least that's the plan. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, the guy that they left behind, who's not going to be experiencing the time dilation, what is he seeing, for these 23 years basically as they're leaving? Like, what do they just eventually just disappear? Or like, does it just look like they're moving like incredibly slowly, and then moving incredibly slowly back?
I mean, yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like, I can kind of understand how like things like gravity and speed would affect your time passage versus somebody who's not in that. But what do they see if they're watching you go at the speed of light, or they're watching you like go into this like heavy gravitational?
Well, so here's the thing: they're not traveling at the speed of light, right? So,
well, you know what I mean.
Like he had to have. He went into hibernation twice during the time that they were on the ground down there. Like,
yeah,
the amount of time that had, like, his level of time dilation compared to what was happening on Earth was two completely different things, because it was relative, right? Because of where he was compared to where they were on the planet. But when he was watching them you're still transversing through. It wasn't like he was in low Earth orbit, for lack of a better whatever the name of the planet was. But he wasn't in low orbit, like watching them descend into the atmosphere. Like he must have been far enough away where they had to transverse.
Yeah, where they would have just been a little dot.
Yeah, they just want to. They would have fucking, just like they did when they were tooling away from the Earth. They would have just went down, and there they go, little dot disappearing.
Yeah, I guess that's the part that I really have trouble wrapping my mind around. Is like if this person in this one location is moving at so much slower than this person, then what is this person seeing when they're looking at that person or event? And it must just be like it. If you could see it, it must just look like it's going in slow motion.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that would make sense.
Put yourself on like this is. It's not a great example, but if you're standing on the coastline, right, and you're looking out over the ocean. Now, again, this is not a good example because the Earth is round.
It's sad that we have to, say that.
But the Earth is round, so eventually, whatever you're watching as it goes over the curvature of the Earth, and you watch, like if it's a sailboat, you watch, and the sail just kind of disappears.
Yeah.
But as it's going away, like as it gets further and further away, it seems like it takes fucking forever for it to get out there. Even though it could be going at 35 knots consistently, but because the way you're watching it out on this plane, like what you're seeing is going to be, it traveling along this axis, right?
Yeah.
But it's traveling for the same amount of time at the same speed, like as what you're seeing. But what's happening between how you're seeing it and what's actually happening could be two completely different things.
True.
And then when we get to the part, where are we? 2 hours already, and I haven't even
Holy
got out of
fuck.
relativity.
Wow, I didn't realize we were going for that long already.
Right.
Holy shit.
When we talk about that, the Tesseract, which is what's happening in with McConaughey after he gets through the black hole.
Yep.
Which is what they're representing. That's where time is no longer a thing. But I forget where I was going with that. I got distracted by time because time.
Yeah, exactly. This note you have in here about the common misconception about E equals MC squared?
Just that it is commonly misthought of because of Einstein's popularity in pop culture. Like people like equate it necessarily with one thing, and what they're actually thinking of it as is not necessarily how it really applies in physics.
Yeah.
Like, because it's this formula is actually an application to a stationary object. Whereas if you were really going to apply this, like, you need to also include momentum into it, because this is, you're talking about something that's moving, and how you determine the energy of that. You have to include movement in there. So like I forget. There's a P in there somewhere, and I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, there is.
So smooth.
Anyway, Vickers, you might know. You're in the chat. What's the
So while you're thinking about that,
go ahead.
while you're thinking about that, this led to one of the more memorable scenes in the movies, right? So they go down, they're looking for that professor that landed on the planet, to get her data, find the crashed ship, get stranded because Anne Hathaway is determined to get the fucking the recorder, even in the orange box and everything. She's trying to pull it out of those same kind of fucking racks that we're very familiar with. No fucking clue what the fuck she's doing. She's just like grabbing it and just try to pull. It's like, I'm sure there's fucking clamps you gotta loosen up and things you gotta unscrew to just get out. You can't just grab it and just fucking yank it out. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen an avionics bay before?
Apparently not.
But so they eventually like get her back on. Homeboy he's done.
Yeah.
He gets swept away. Dude from the Hunger Games. And they're stranded there because the fucking wave picks them up, and they do some surfing, and the fucking engines are flooded. So now they got to wait an hour or more. And now they know they've lost a lot of fucking time, because it was, again, 7 years per hour that they were on the planet is what they calculated with relativity and everything. How much you believe that is up to you.
Yeah.
They get out of there, finally they redock with the fucking with the main ship where that guy Rom's been there for, turns out, 23 years, and it's wild that he just waited up there for 23 years for them to come back.
Yeah, he went to sleep a couple times.
Yeah,
like
he
he
said.
said, but most of the time it's just him just fucking chilling.
Yeah, chilling with the two robots.
Yeah, trying not to kill himself.
Yeah. And then you get probably the most memorable scene, at least from like a meme perspective, or a scene that's like widely known, when Matthew McConaughey gets the 23 years of messages from home. And it's some pretty heart-wrenching stuff, honestly. It's like he played it so fucking well, where at first he's smiling and it immediately goes into that like hysterical cry.
Right.
You know, watching his son grow up, sending all the messages, he sees his grandson, then hears that the fucking grandson died, then that John Lithgow's character died.
Right.
And then just, finally his son, who's now played by Casey Affleck, which, by the way, his younger son is the fucking dude from Dune, the kid from Dune. The new Dune movie, that's his younger son in this. And then, the grown-up version of the son is Casey Affleck, Ben Affleck's brother.
Of course it is.
Yeah, so, and then it's basically him saying, like, yeah, I know you never fucking see these, so I have to let you go. So this is me letting you go, and just click. And, like, if you're really listening to this movie, like, listening, it's that organy music playing the whole time that the messages are going, and as soon as Casey Affleck clicks it off, it's just boom, the music
Silence.
just stops.
Yep.
It's like, fuck, that was good. And then you get the video of Murphy sending the message, which as soon as she's done and she clicks off, then it goes to that current time where she's back on Earth with the fucking professor and everything. So it was a fucking phenomenal sequence of scenes that, like, between them redocking, seeing Ron as much older, and then the messages and all that, it was good. That was one of the better parts of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about some wormholes and black holes.
So, without delving into fucking an hour-long discussion about, we've already kind of alluded to the fact that a wormhole showing up by Saturn. Yeah, no, no. I mean, just
Well, so
no.
let's start off by talking about this. So the concept of wormholes is just a theory at this point, and it's a kind of a loose theory, almost, in my opinion, wishful thinking, more than anything. And Rom explains it pretty well when he uses the piece of paper, the drawing the two points, folding the paper in half to make an instantaneous travel between the 2 points, and then the whole sphere and everything else. But is that really possible?
Well,
because again, it's just a theory at this point. There's no evidence that suggests that that's a real thing.
Yeah, and well, there's a lot of really interesting stuff. I know. I remember reading about. You asked the question: Is there anything faster than the speed of light? I ask you that. Is there anything faster than the speed of light?
Allegedly, no.
Okay. So there are also things like, you know where the quark is.
Mm.
You've heard of quarks and, leptons and things like that. Well, quarks, leptons, pions, in quantum mechanics, there are actually elements that when they're basically, they communicate with each other in a way that, because there's an up and a down, think of it, not necessarily a positive and negative, but they're opposites, right? So that when you see one as one direction, the other one somehow reverts to the opposite direction.
Okay.
And it has to do it like instantaneously. And it does it faster than the speed of light.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. And this is happening, like I said, this is at the quantum level.
Right.
So
subatomic
right
kind of level.
Yeah. Quantum mechanics being the physics of the infinitely small, right? So this is something
So smooth.
right. So this is something that they're doing, and you know, in the colliders, and they're doing stuff like this and figuring on this shit out. So darkness, no parrots. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, me either.
So anyway, yeah, the idea that, you know, a wormhole could exist, and again, this is more Dave science than real science, but this is you know, we have gravitational waves, right? We know these are a real thing. You know, Einstein proved this.
Yeah.
And with these gravitational waves, if there's no medium, right? We've proved centuries ago that there's no such thing as the ether, right?
Right.
Back in the day, they used the ether as the medium that transmitted light, right? Because they needed something for light to be actually transmitted in, because they didn't understand that that light was a particle and a wave.
Right.
They thought it was a wave, so they needed some sort of medium, right? So they created the ether. This was in the 1800s. So they proved that Einstein, this is one of the things Einstein was obsessed with, was proving how light works. So this is one of the things that they flushed out in his papers in 1905. So you have, you know, these waves of gravitational energy but no medium. But we also know that there's dark matter and dark energy that makes up most of everything.
Yeah.
Right. We talk about
Because that's when you start getting into the Big Bang and the infinite
Right.
expansion.
So there's, when you're balancing out the equation of how much mass there is in the universe, then you need to have things like dark energy and dark matter.
yeah.
So if dark matter and dark energy, it can be the medium that these gravitational waves are in, then who's to say that within the same medium in some dimension that you couldn't make those two waves connect? And just like you would be at the beach, right? And you're like, oh, I'm here, instead of cresting over the wave, I'm going to dive straight through it.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, what's that going to look like? Is that what a wormhole is? You know, ostensibly doing the same thing. So you're not dealing with the trough of the wave. You're going straight through it.
Right. Because and that's the whole idea of the wormhole. It's you're not traveling faster than the speed of light. You're just essentially teleporting
You're
from
taking a
one
shortcut.
spot. Yeah,
You're taking a shortcut
from one spot to another.
And which essentially is something that they've proven with this in quantum mechanics, that they've proven does happen.
Okay.
So
how can we have that happen at a grander scale?
how did it happen? You know, one of the things that they did, and this is something that you know, I read researching for this, Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying he's talked about the representation of the wormhole as a sphere and why that was relevant. Which I just took for granted that that's what it would look like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought anything of it. Apparently some people had an issue with that. I didn't. And then when you get to the black hole, and we talk about how they represented a black hole, what that looked like.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, apparently if you read the development and everything, they put this through these massive computer simulations getting ready to make this visualization for the movie. And it took up massive amounts of terabytes of information to generate this simulation and ultimately what we saw on screen. It was one of the only CG effects that we saw in this movie, as opposed to the practical effects that we got with the ships and everything. And it was, you know, apparently pretty spot on. Yeah, and it was based off of, you know, a lot of scientists' theories and predictions as to what a black hole would look like. And then, of course, a few years ago, when was it? Was it like 2018 that we got that first image of a black hole?
How long? 18 or 19.
Yeah, it was just within the last few years. We got that actual image that they put together for a black hole, and it was pretty fucking spot on. You know, especially with like the heat radiations on the outsides, and yeah, it was good. And you know, they still get praised to this day in this movie for the depiction of the black hole.
Yeah, Vickers just sent me. There was a PDF. It's got a bunch of the stuff. It's like the physics of Interstellar. It's got some neat some neat drawings on it.
Okay.
But yeah, so when you're talking about the black hole, and they talk about it in the movie. They talk about the event horizon and like what's going on with that, and you know, there's been 100 movies made up about like event horizon, like the movie Event Horizon for one. One of the things that this is where Dave again wrinkled his nose and went like, no, was when they're setting the ship up and okay, they're going to make this maneuver so that they can use the.
Basically, yeah, they're planning on using the black hole the same way we use like the planets to slingshot, use gravity, slingshot,
like a retrograde orbit type thing.
Yeah.
And that the idea that A, this was going to work, B, that you're going to lose enough mass, like they were shedding mass by getting rid of the other
the two ships
and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, God, why? That's like, that doesn't make any sense even as they're doing it. And then going into the black hole itself, like, no, just no, because you're not in a spacecraft you're not in anything that's going to protect you from a black hole. I mean,
right. So now here's where this like whole fifth dimension beings or whatever thing could come into play, because it's essentially they saved him from just getting completely fucking obliterated in this black hole. Because I would imagine the second you like really get caught in the gravity of a black hole, you're fucking done. Like you're just fucking immediately squished.
It's like, no, it's you're basically like, ever seen him make taffy?
Yeah.
Right. So like it's on this machine and it kind of like takes it and it like spreads it like this.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like folds it over and so just picture at an atomic level, you're being like spread apart like taffy.
Right. So
and then that piece gets spread apart and then that piece gets spread apart until you're just basically fucking you're atomized.
Yeah.
Into like, there's no, like, it's agonizingly slow. It's fucking Siri just typed out everything I just said. It'd be agonizingly slow, and you not only would be getting longer, but it would only be like this, like just insanely, like just no.
Yeah.
Like
well, and this is where
you would have to be like, okay, this is a movie.
Like the second he detached, they probably had him protected in their weird fourth and fifth dimensionally hoobajoo.
Okay,
and
so let's talk about the fourth dimension. Okay. The fourth dimension is time.
Right.
Okay. So if you're protecting him from time, right, which they're basically showing us this with the when they show him going into the fucking library, or the den or whatever it is, right? So, and this is what's by definition called this is the Tesseract, right? So the idea is that you're seeing things, you're no longer constrained by the dimension of time, right? So the fourth dimension of time, that element, you've been removed from that. So now you see, it's not a matter of time travel, right?
Right. You just see all instances of this one location.
You see everything at every particular moment. Like you see, everything is in front of you.
Yep.
So the fact that this is for him is in this one particular moment and it's isolated in a particular way. It's interesting. It's interesting the way they visualized it.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of visualizing it.
I just don't think they explained very well what was happening.
No.
Like I think they just made it seem like, okay, I think people look at something like that and go, time travel.
Right. Which
right.
That's not
what's happening.
Yeah.
The other part that I take issue with is this interaction and these gravitational anomalies that are happening with the watch and the fucking the binary and all this other shit. No, sorry, can't do it.
Yeah,
can't go there. I just it's something that there needed to be some element where he's interacting to make the circle complete.
Well, and that brings up a fucking chicken and egg scenario too, because if this was all created by future Earth people, And they created this so that he could send this message to Murphy to get people off of Earth so they could eventually later establish themselves and become these 5-dimensional beings.
You're talking about time travel, and that defeats the entire purpose. There's no such thing as time travel.
Right. So, but it's like, again, like which came first? Right. Did the people become these 5th-dimensional beings and then, allowed this to happen? Or it's a paradox, basically, is what it...
Yeah. And I don't it's just this... The interacting with his daughter, like, it's an interesting plot point, but from not something that you want to be able to hang your hat on and say, hey, look, there's science involved in this.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, there's an interesting discussion here about what would happen if you remove the time out of the dimension, and have a generalized discussion what a tesseract is and not something out of a fucking Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And now here's an interesting thing that actually just popped into my head as I'm thinking about this. Conceivably, these 5th-dimensional beings could be the descendants specifically of the colony that's created with the embryos and all that shit. And the fucking people that left Earth never rejoined that fucking colony. They might have gone off and done something else. So this whole interaction, them saving Cooper and having him rescue the people on Earth, wouldn't have affected the 5th-dimensional beings and their thing. So that's one way it could have worked, but that's just me thinking out loud.
So I stopped, like, I was not trying to make any association between one thing or the other, because the idea that, like, human beings, at some point it has to stop being like a human centric thing. You know what I mean? It's like, the movie itself demonstrated that over the span of however many hundreds of years, they only advanced technology up into this point, right?
Yeah.
And what you're looking at, even with the not Ring World, it's kind of a Ring World type scenario that he ends up on.
The ship. That's the space station. That's what they were building on Earth. That big centrifuge. Yeah. That's eventually what becomes that station that he wakes up on.
Right. Which, why would you have to go so far away from Earth to make that happen?
That's a good question. They really wanted to get away from the blight.
Really did, but didn't take any of it with them. They had all the same crops and stuff, but didn't take it.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I wasn't there for that part.
Yeah. Anyway, they say sidebar, but related to the movie. Fucking what's his nuts? Oh, shit, the guy from Third Rock, from
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow, thank you.
Yeah.
He makes this comment when they're watching baseball about how fucking popcorn doesn't belong at ball games. I'm like, popcorn is at every fucking ball game. What the fuck kind of comment is that? It's just,
he wanted a hot dog.
Well, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's elements to this that just got under Dave's skin.
Clearly. All right. So anything else on the science stuff before we move on to kind of like likes and dislikes?
No, just no, not really. I mean, just
and again,
it makes for interesting discussions, but don't look at this. Don't watch this movie and go like, I know stuff about physics. Like,
right.
I'm an idiot with this stuff, and
Smarter than me.
It's because I've had an education and I remember some of it. Like, I just specifically to this.
Okay.
Like, no.
I'm like, what are you saying about me?
No, I've had an education specifically to like these elements, and I remember some of it.
All right. Fair enough.
And I got to try at least sound smart. My fucking, my daughter's boyfriend's an astrophysicist, for God's sakes.
Oh, we should have brought him on the show.
We should have.
God damn it, Dave.
That's deliberate. I don't need him showing up how fucking dumb I am.
That's true. I'd feel like a real idiot then. Be you two talking back and forth, and I'd be like, I like popcorn.
Popcorn, hot dogs. I like hot dogs.
Yeah. So, and just keep in mind, though, that, Christopher Nolan did have a team of scientists and physicists on set as consultants to kind of keep him on point as much as possible. Obviously, you got to stretch your imagination a little bit. It's still a movie.
Sure.
So again, we didn't want to go scene by scene in this and break down every single scene. Instead, I wanted to do some like likes and dislikes, things we liked about the movie, things we disliked about the movie. I have a small list. So
smooth.
I don't know if you want me to start, if you
can
have some
start.
things. Okay.
I've been railing on this movie a lot, so probably something that's good about it from your perspective is going to be useful.
Well, I've already licked Hans Zimmer's balls quite a bit.
You did.
And
Salty balls.
I have another note in here. I want him to do something Star Wars. Like, I want him to score something Star Wars, be it a movie, TV show, something. Fucking Kathleen Kennedy, hire Hans Zimmer. Do a Star Wars score, please. Besides that, there are 4 scenes in this movie that I think were just fucking phenomenally done. 4 scenes that I've watched over and over again on YouTube. I posted all 4 of them to our private Facebook group too, for anybody who's curious. And I think they're so well done. And like, this movie could just be these 4 scenes together, and I'd be like, oh, that's one of the best movies I've ever fucking seen. But it's, it starts off when before he leaves Earth, and he's talking to Murphy in her room. Like, she's like, he's about to leave and she won't fucking talk to him. She won't forgive him. It's a really good back and forth where he gives her the watch, tells her, hey, we might be the same age when I get back. And she's still pissed. She won't fucking hug him. She won't do anything. And he's like fucking distraught. He's like, come on, don't make me leave like this. And she won't fucking, come around. And he's driving away. That fucking Hans Zimmer score is just blaring in the background. Imagine that meme with the guy playing the fucking fiery piano on the beach.
Yeah.
That score is blasting as he's driving away, tears in his fucking eyes as his daughter runs out. And over all of this, you hear, and engine starting in T-minus 10, 9. So you hear this other scene of them about to take off as he's driving away, and you got all this other stuff going on. And then as soon as they get down to 1, boom, it immediately flashes to the fucking rocket ship taking off. Fucking love that whole sequence. So well done. Very, very well done. The other one, the waves scene on Dr. Miller's planet, when he looks at the back of the thing and the fucking big ass wave. I'm like, and again, Hans Zimmer fucking bringing it in that scene.
Right.
Then there's the docking scene. So after fucking Matt Damon steals the Ranger and doesn't know the proper docking sequences, blows the fucking airlock and like completely shipwrecks the big ship. It's like, and now it's spinning out of control and basically hurling down towards the fucking ice planet. Matthew McConaughey's like, and they're watching it. Him and Anne Hathaway are watching it. They're like, we're fucking dead, right? Because that was their only way to get anywhere. Like the little lander that they were in doesn't have a lot of fuel or anything else. So it's that big ship that's transporting them everywhere. So they're looking at it and they're like, well, if this crashes into the planet, we're dead, as is the rest of fucking humanity. So it's kind of a desperation move for him to fucking swoop in, match the fucking spin, and dock and slow the fucking ship down and get it out of orbit before it fucking crashes. So that whole fucking sequence, when he's lining up, it's spinning out, and he lines up underneath it, and then they fucking initiates the spin, and you get that feeling for just how fucking heavy that spin is on their body. You had the one part where Anne Hathaway fucking passes out and her fucking arms just go like floating in the air, and just the scene is so fucking intense. And again, Hans Zimmer the whole time bringing like his best fucking work to it. Is just another great fucking scene. And then the last one, when they are escaping from Gargantua, they're doing the slingshot maneuver, which as I'm watching this, I'm like, can they really get that close to a black hole without getting just sucked all the rest of the way in?
It is a baby black hole, or they just he had some ridiculous description for it. It's like, oh, this is I don't know. He basically made it sound like, oh, this is like black hole light. Or something, or it's an older one, so somehow it didn't have as much energy.
Okay.
Like, okay, dude. I don't buy that for a fucking second, but okay.
But that scene where they do the whole slingshot maneuver and they fucking fire the engines of the main ship and the lander and the fucking Ranger, and they just blasting up, and they're like fucking jammed against their seats. And then, Tars has to release, and, they got to say goodbye to Tars. And then, of course, Cooper releases without Anne Hathaway's knowledge leading up to that. She's all fucking like, what the fuck? And that's when he gives her the 90% speech, fucking detaches. She's got fucking tears in her eyes as he's drifting towards the black hole. And we've already talked about what happens there.
Right. Turns into taffy.
Yeah. But yeah, those 4 scenes made this fucking movie for me. And there's a lot of other good stuff in between, but god damn. Like I thought all 4 of those were just so brilliantly done. Great music, great directing, great acting. Like the performances by all of these actors was fucking great. Even Matt Damon's performance.
Matt Damon
As the scientist who fucking, pulls some serious bullshit and basically tries to steal the ship for the greater good, allegedly, but not doing it in the right way. Like he should have just been, as soon as they pulled him out and put that fucking heat blanket over him, he should have been like, all right, guys, I gotta fucking tell you something.
Yeah, listen, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
But there's no fucking promised land.
Yeah.
I was I was having a day, and I went ahead and faked the fucking document.
Yeah, so you can
we
kill
should
me right now.
We
but
should just pack it up.
Yep.
Head back. Like I'm fucking.
That would have saved them a lot of ass pain.
Yeah. Like let's just fucking go.
Yeah.
Ready? Yeah, I'm ready to go. Like we can fucking just. I got my shit packed. It's right here. Let's fucking go.
But yeah, his performance was fucking great as, a scientist who was so confident that the planet he was going to get to was going to be the right one. He never even thought about the possibility that, he could possibly just die there alone. And it was good. It was really good. So, and then there was one fucking F-bomb in the movie, because of PG-13, I'm pretty sure it was PG-13. And it had to do with Matt Damon's character when, he pushes fucking Cooper down and they're both struggling and they get to the bottom of that fucking crevice and he's like, you faked all the data. And he's like, yes, I did. And he's like, you fucking coward. And that was the one F-bomb in the movie. And it was like perfectly placed too.
Yeah, that's where I would use it.
Yeah. So those were, that and all of the other stuff that I've talked about already is all of my likes for the movie.
Okay. So what I liked about this movie was I liked that it promotes a scientific discussion.
Which it did today.
I appreciate the fact that Christopher Nolan, like you mentioned in the beginning, like they went into this with, hey, I want to promote the sciences of this. I want to promote NASA, space travel, blah 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 blah. That's what I want to come out of this. So whatever they needed to do to make that happen and stay within, some boundary of realistic science goal, then I think I like the fact that they had that as a goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, and it's great for promoting good discussion. And I think enough people saw it and it probably did promote good discussion. I mean, I wasn't in 2014. I don't know how much it actually did, but I know there was plenty of physicists that went
Helmet Fire said this was NASA's Top Gun.
Oh God, that's it's certainly better than fucking Armageddon and those other travesties.
Though there was no beach volleyball, so I don't know how good it can really be.
Well, I mean, they had water, but no beach.
Right. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So they did surfing. They went surfing. Perfect.
They did go surfing. They did go surfing.
Anyway, scientific discussion.
So I like the scientific discussion aspect of it. So I'm gonna move from that into the things that I didn't like about this movie.
All right.
I didn't like. This is Dave, right? This is just me. We've already spoken earlier about how I'm heartless and don't like, certain things. The aspects of like, leaving with not having, not necessarily leaving with the best. Like, you're making me leave like this.
Yeah, no good closure and not leaving on a good tone.
That, that's too close to home. I think, for me personally, from all the TDYs and shit that we've done over the years.
Yeah.
And my kids were a little bit older, and there's definitely been situations where when I've left, it hasn't been under like. You've been in situations where it's like, fuck, if this is the last time, I hate how I left.
Yeah.
And you try and not have it that way. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I hated how fucking this is the guy who had just happened to fucking, like, if this was the pilot that they needed, why didn't they fucking go get him? Like, hey, you need to save the world.
Well,
dude.
because they didn't know he was alive.
How did they not know?
I don't know. But he even said that. Like, he's like, an hour ago, you didn't even know I was alive, and now you want me to fly your fucking ship out of here?
Right. Yeah, it's just whatever. Yeah, so I didn't like that. It's just, like I said, because it hit a little too close to home. All the weepy fucking squishy shit. I didn't need that. I didn't.
Fucking heartless.
It's not that I'm heartless. It's just I don't want to activate my fucking emotional sequences.
Okay,
Like,
that's fair.
my emotions are programmed to about 15%.
Right.
Is really what it comes down to.
You want to make it 10?
Yeah. Other dislikes, the Matt Damon character, there was an aspect of that where it kind of made me think about some things that we learned in survival school with, when you're in isolation and where your mind kind of goes, and the fact that they would send this crew out to potentially recover other humans that have been by themselves for this amount of time and not have any kind of like, hey, guess what? You're going to go see people that haven't seen people.
Yeah, in 10 years.
Yeah. So here's kind of here's a little list.
Little training.
Yeah, here's a little list of things to look out for.
What to expect when you're expecting to raise somebody from the dead.
Right. And I guess that's maybe just it's military exposure, right? But
Yeah.
in that scenario, it's like, okay, hey, guess what? You're going to go recover people that have been potentially by themselves for a long time with that weren't necessarily expecting to fucking get recovered.
Right.
So they could be in any kind of state of
Yeah.
mind. So
Don't trust anything they say.
right.
Do your due diligence.
Right. If you look at a fucking pile of robot, don't just automatically assume like, oh yeah.
Oh,
no.
this is fine.
Yeah, this is fine. Like, oh, there's a completely habitable fucking area just below our feet right now. Then what the fuck are we doing standing here?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to go with you by myself to go look at this spot. We're just fucking go. Let's all go. Why? What? This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But again, it's a Davism applying a like, oh, here's this little trait that a handful of other people on the planet have the skill set or the training that would recognize something like that. Like,
Sure.
oh, hey, this is a thing.
Well, then
So-
you got to think the planet's a lot smaller and a lot less resources.
No, I'm talking about us.
Right,
like
right.
just us and how we're looking at a movie to go like, oh, here's this situation where, yeah, if I were showing up, I would expect that this person would be fucking nuts.
Yeah, you'd have your guard up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Like maybe call them on the radio. Like, hey, anybody alive down there?
Yeah.
Oh my God, people! Like, oh, you know what? Let's not fucking go. Let's circle around.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, I don't have.
All right, so I had a few dislikes myself. I ended up not really liking the whole revelation of the ghost and the future humans. So the fact that he ended up being the ghost and did the whole stay thing with the Morse code, and he was the one who did the gravitational stuff, because I don't like the whole like time paradox issue that brings up, and I don't like the fact that it was just like future humans that set all this up, again creating some fucking time paradox.
Well,
I would have been much happier if it was just like fucking some alien civilization.
But
that
we
did
don't
it.
know that it was humans. Like they say
Well, yeah,
that
I
it
guess he
might be
theorized.
humans,
Yeah.
but they don't actually they don't give that definitively.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I guess because we don't know 100% for sure. So, but either way, I definitely didn't like the whole revelation of him being the ghost. I liked I like the way they represented, like we talked about, the Tesseract and that singularity space and then infinite time around that space. That was all cool, but just the fact that it was ended up being him, not the greatest thing. I hated fucking Anne Hathaway's love monologue when they're trying to decide which fucking planet to go to, and she wanted to go to her boyfriend's planet, and the revelation that she was in love with the guy. And then she had that whole long speech about how, love is attracting her.
Shut up.
And I'm just like, yeah, we're not going to go there just because of that. So, maybe that was just her Hail Mary attempt, right? That she's like, fuck. All right, I tried to be diplomatic about this. I tried to give my reasons why his planet seems more optimal. Fuck it. I'm going to throw out the love card and see if they bite. They didn't bite. But yeah, I didn't like that whole speech. And then there was just one line of dialogue that I just thought was corny as hell during one of my favorite scenes.
Only one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where he's going to dock after Matt Damon blows the airlock and the fucking
Matt Damon.
Yeah, and the ship is spinning out of control. He fucking very quickly realizes, like, we got to fucking save the ship now or it's fucking done. And he's going through and the robot's like, Cooper, it's not possible. He's like, no, it's necessary. And I'm just like, yeah, that was kind of cheesy.
Yeah, it's gross.
No, it's necessary.
It's
like, okay, you could have pulled that one back a little bit. And Christopher Nolan, that's all your fault. You should have told him, like, okay, like, reel it in a little there, buddy.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. The whole, this is where I was talking about with the Anne Hathaway, like, you're not a scientist, you're like I get it if they're limited to who in humanity is privy to, like, if your selection pool is limited, then okay,
which it was,
cool.
Yeah.
Then keep those people fucking in suspended animation. Like, they didn't have to be awake for any of these things. Those fucking robots could have flown the entirety of those missions.
In fact,
like,
when they landed on the water world, they could have just sent fucking Case out there. Like, Case, go get the data, get your ass back here,
right.
And like, not even let fucking Anne Hathaway or the Hunger Games guy go out
or
there.
even 10 years prior, like, this is, you have the ability to send signals that are going to at least transverse through the wormhole to get back to let you know that there's a signal available.
Mm-hmm.
How about transmit everything that's on the fucking device?
Yeah.
How about some redundancy in
Yeah.
the system?
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe, like, again, Team America here, but involve the rest of the fucking world. Like, I never bought into the fact that this is the only parcel, like, this snapshot of what is going on in this movie is only happening in this fucking 3 square mile block of the entirety of the planet. It's like, it smacks of just, I don't know. It's just not, to me, it's just not good storytelling. Like, because I've read so many good fucking books.
Sorry, Kristen is
She's a cave troll. Wow.
She does not like Anne Hathaway.
Wow, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Cave troll.
Yeah.
We need that's the next t-shirt.
Anne Hathaway's face. We might get sued for that.
No. So if it's rendered, right? If somebody draws it as a troll, like as one of the trolls with the hair, like the 80s troll with the fucking hair. Get like an Anne Hathaway cartoon with the fucking 80s troll hair.
I don't know. We might still be pushing some boundaries.
Nobody would know it's Anne Hathaway but us. You'd have to listen to the show to know who that is.
So we just label it the cave troll.
Right. It's completely show specific.
I'll leave that to you. I want nothing to do with it. All right. So so that was it for my dislikes. Ultimately.
Yeah. I look, to put a cap on this,
Put a bow on it.
to tie it up with a nice little bow. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a good movie. It's not.
You would not think that listening to you rail about
listen,
it.
I had a lot of things to say, and
Yeah.
this is why I wanted to talk about the science of this. This is an opportunity to, like, have a sciencey conversation.
You've just been like, Egan, you've just had the shit built up for a while, and you're just like, ah!
Yes.
Science.
Yes. Yeah, and I didn't even get to draw fucking pictures. I wanted to draw pictures. I just
I didn't realize we've been going for so fucking long. I'm like, holy shit. When you said the 2-hour mark, I'm like, no.
listen, Jason. You know as well as I do that when I get going, especially teaching something, it's
a time dilation, you know.
Right.
It's
Dave teaching is like being in a gravity well.
Yeah.
I got you. Like totally.
well, but see, here's the thing. Like, it went by fast for me. Like, it did not feel like 2 hours, or now 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Right.
It felt like it was an hour.
Yeah. So anyway, good movie. I good enough for me to buy it. Like, knowing that I had the issues I had with the movie when I first saw it is the same issues I had this time, but I still bought it.
Yeah.
Not just purely out of laziness. I bought it because it's like, hey, like I said, there's some good representation of concepts in here that I think would be, if you're like, hey, I'm trying to teach something to somebody about this. Yeah, look at this. We can sit here and talk through some of this. Ignore Cave Troll and other.
Come on, not you too.
It's just fun to say. It's just fun to say now. Anyway, yeah.
All right, fair enough. And yeah, as I've made it abundantly clear, I fucking love this movie. Absolutely love it. One of the best movies I've seen, not Star Wars, in a long, long time.
Right.
So yeah,
that brings up your next point. So
The
The Martian.
Well, yeah. What's next? Right. That's the note. What's next? The Martian. We talked about Matt Damon quite a bit.
Matt Damon.
I have never seen nor read The Martian, so from everything that I've heard, that's also a very good movie. So I need to get on that. And also, Kristen recommended recently Project Hail Mary, which it's funny because we're driving to lunch yesterday. And she's like, yeah, have you ever heard or read Project Hail Mary? I'm like, no. She's like, yeah, they're making a movie out of it. I'm like, oh, well, what's it about? She's like, well, you know, Earth is experiencing like all this stuff, and basically the humans have to leave Earth and go colonize another planet. I'm like, wow, that sounds familiar. And she's like, no, it's very different. Trust me. So, but yeah, apparently they're making a movie out of this Project Hail Mary.
I can tell you why it's different. Mr. Light, you need some more tape.
Well, you threw it at me. You're like, fucking tape the bug to the mic.
No, I said put tape on the bug so we could eliminate it.
Yeah.
Not tape it to the mic. See, that's where you went wrong. Like you misunderstood the entire concept.
Apparently.
Jason.
What's up, Big Swede? He just hopped into the
Swede,
chat.
finally?
Yeah. He missed everything. We're pretty much ready to wrap things up.
Christ on stilts.
You better wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up, B.
So yeah, no, I definitely want to do The Martian. Like, we can do it for the show. I can watch it for the first time, maybe January, February time frame.
So I would like for you to. We can watch The Martian,
Okay.
right? Because it's out there,
Yeah.
right?
And I've kept myself spoiler free, by the way. Like, I don't know how it ends. I don't know anything. I've seen the trailer, so I know what the concept is.
This is one where I will snobbishly say that the book is better,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean the movie is not good. It just the book is definitely better in my mind.
Abracadabra, B. Abracadabra.
And yeah, and then after you watch The Martian, then I think you should listen to the audiobook of Project Hail Mary.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, I don't know if that movie's coming out anytime soon. Like,
I don't know that it is.
yeah,
but,
we're probably like talking 24 or 25 kind of thing.
But yeah, if you've got
So yeah, let's do that. We'll do the Martian movie, and then you can come on and talk about how different the book is, and then we'll both do the Project Hail Mary book.
Right.
We'll make those goals for next year.
Well, I've already read the book.
Right.
So
I'm saying for the show.
Right. I'll reread it. I've already got it in my Audible library.
Well,
so
you do whatever you feel is right. I'm just saying.
And Ray Porter is one of my favorite audio authors.
All right. Very good.
So that actually would be a lot of fun.
All right, so real quick before the Red 5 reads, next week we are talking more Star Wars comics. We're doing the next Darth Vader comic story. I think we agreed pretty much we're not going to re-engage with the Star Wars comic because it was kind of lame, that first story.
Yeah.
So we're going to try the next Vader one. We'll see if that's entertaining, and that'll be next week. So I think it's issues 6 through 12.
6 through 12.
6 through 12.
6 through 12.
So-
Oh my God, it's almost fucking Christmas.
Yeah. Miss Lopez.
I've been waiting.
Oh, hey.
Waiting forever.
It was a longer episode this week.
Oh my God, I got like bedhead. I'm waiting so long.
Yeah, I know what that's like.
Do you?
My hair's getting longer. You can't really
Well, that's
see
part of the problem.
it. Yeah. But that's what causes
I've
bedhead.
got bedhead and crazy eyes. like more googly eyes than usual.
Yeah.
All right.
So
We've been gone for a while today, so we should probably just get to the
let's get right to it.
get to it.
Yes.
All
Do
right,
it.
we're gonna
Hold-
get right to it. Hey!
That's right. I got rid of my do it drop.
You are the worst on the board today.
I am terrible.
Me so horny.
Me so horny.
How dare you? How dare you?
How dare you?
Are they on the same page?
No, they're not. I had to quickly switch from one page to another.
So ridiculous.
No, you know what's ridiculous.
The sacred Jedi Pax!
Yep, that is.
So anyway, what you got for us today?
I don't know. Hang on.
Everything okay?
I feel like I'm gonna lose an eye.
Well, you look fine.
Oh, good. I don't feel good.
Yeah.
Like anyway. Red 5 News! Red 5 News! Googly eyes! They're at 2100, 9 p.m. Eastern, hoping to the live chat of After the Weekend.
Hoping?
It says hope into the live chat. I just read what it says, Jason.
Hey, no, I understand.
Of After the Weekend, where R2 and JT will be discussing their favorite trilogies. Trilogies. The Red 5 has 38!
I'm 37?
Plus one podcast from our content creators. Has it always been there like that? I feel like that's different.
Maybe.
Content creators.
You're the one who's been reading it, not me.
What the...
So you would know better.
Just because I'm reading it doesn't mean I remember.
Yeah, well. Just because I hear it doesn't mean I remember.
Well, that's obvious. Check out bio.link/red5 bio.link/red5 to browse this amazing lineup of 38 podcasts.
I'm 37?
Plus one from our content creators. Cantina Family Happenings! It's just in bold. It's not capitalized. But the font is bigger.
Yeah, it is.
Ha-ha! Hey! The Use and Abuse Pod will be covering A Christmas Story and A Christmas Story Christmas.
Which I still want to watch that, by the way.
Oh, fuck that. Why do you have to do it? Why do you have to make another one?
I mean, that's...
Besides the money.
well, because Hollywood has no original ideas.
Besides the money.
That's all it is.
It's all about the money.
Only money. I need that
Only
drop.
Money. What drop are you gonna mistakenly put in a spot for that one?
I don't know yet.
Oh,
Hold
me
on.
so horny. that should be me saying, me so horny.
Ooh.
We love you long time.
And I can still put the music in the background.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, we're doing that. Yes, but we'll deal with that later. Hold on, I'm gonna write that down. I'm actually writing it.
That's why the whole table is shaking.
All right, go.
Use and Abuse Pod will be covering A Christmas Story and A Christmas Story Christmas. Blech. Tomorrow with special guest Nicole from Rogue One Radio. Join Scott and Kim at 1700 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the YouTube. Gotta move the screen up here. Just use my face.
I've had to do that before. Like I've had my hands full and I need to move my screen and I'll use my nose to...
Yeah, I use my nose all the time. The nose that I don't have.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. The whole thing is weird, Jason. This whole setup is weird.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a little strange.
I'm talking to a hand puppet right now.
Yes,
You're just a normal person
You're
right
looking
there.
right
So
at me.
yeah, I know.
It makes me uncomfortable.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Well, both have been back. We're reviewing our Cyborg Cantina Fantasy Football Week 13 standings on Wednesday.
Speaking of which, Dave is probably going to be the #1 team after this week.
You're fucking right, he will be.
And I got my ass kicked by Kristen again. This bitch beats me every time we play fantasy football. Every time.
Every time.
Every time. I can't beat her.
Every time. Yeah, it's great.
She beats me at home, too.
Yeah, I bet she does. You deserve it, too.
Somebody help me call
With a wet
911.
noodle.
I'd rather not say.
That's just with the whips and the chains. The chains. In my dreams.
Well, now you're just getting weird.
Well, that's a Aqua Teen Hunger Force reference.
Oh, I didn't watch much of that show.
Yeah. Meatball. You know the meatball guy?
I do.
Yeah. He says that.
That's great.
Look it up.
I will not.
Do it!
Finish the reads.
You're distracting me.
We do sidebars in this show. It's called the Sidebar Goddamn Cantina.
With the chains. Trying to make my googly eyes Google.
Oh my god. It's going to be a 5-hour show tonight.
Both in the back, we're reviewing our Sidebar Cantina Fan Football Week 13s on Fun on Wednesday!
Are you okay?
Catch Brady, Don, and LG live at 1800, 6 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Facebook Live on the Sidebar Cantina group, where Dave dominated everyone with no fucking quarterbacks! None! None! Russell fucking Wilson! And yet I still put up 183 points! Or he put up 183 points! Suck it! All of you!
You're going to lose your voice if you keep screaming like that.
ATSW! The Escape Pod gets spicy on Wednesday. It's ladies' night, and the ladies are bringing it. Check out Shanti, Tina, Nicole, and host Lunar Girl while Brady McLovin and Don the Snooch and Dragon Buddy chill in the chat. 1905, 7:05 Eastern on the YouTube. Ladies' night. Oh, no, this ladies' night. Oh, no, feeling right. I was waiting for you to start.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh,
been in my
night.
head since we first heard that. But
Oh, what a night. Ladies' night. Dandela Snooch and Luna Girl will be reviewing Stranger Things Season 2, Chapter 7, The Lost Sister. God, every time I read this, I just have no fucking clue. I have no clue what they're talking about. None at all. Like, I'm generally speaking, kind of have an idea what's going on, but with this, none.
oh yeah, I've got none either.
None at all. I have more of an idea what Albert Einstein fucking was thinking in 1905 than I do about that fucking show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fix my hair here. There we go. Join their live chat at 1900, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday at Stranger Things Has Happened on YouTube, and you can figure out what's happened on Season 2, Chapter 7, The Lost Sister. And maybe I should, and I'll learn something about the show. But I probably won't. Sorry. Layman's Terms released Psycho over the weekend.
The original?
I don't know.
Okay.
Subscribe on YouTube for your source of ignorance and drunken banter. So go to Layman's Terms on the YouTube and you'll find out.
All right.
Big Swede was back in the studio this weekend with Nurk and Dale doing explicit noise stuff. Subscribe, explicit noise. Remember me? I did the video.
I do remember that.
Yeah, you were there too.
I was there.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a good
It was
time.
fun.
We should do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe when it's not as cold.
It wasn't that cold then.
It was to me.
It's colder now.
Yes.
Stars would be good though.
Holy fuck.
What?
Kirstie Alley is dead.
What?
Yeah. Lunar Girl just sent us a text. Kirstie Alley dead at 71.
Sad face.
Yeah. God, I didn't realize she was that old.
Well, I mean, time.
Time dilation. Yeah. Anyway.
Sad face.
Yeah.
Damn it. God, getting old sucks.
Yeah. Oh, and there's going to be a cave troll sketch ready for tomorrow.
Wow, okay. Jeez, that was quick.
Yeah.
Damn. Big Swede, explicit noise. Follow, subscribe to both Explicit Noise and Sweet Studios on YouTube, and follow on the socials for updates. And, our music videos on there. You can find us at... I heard an echo in my head. Am I having a stroke?
It was just your own voice
That's
echoing in the fucking...
craziness. Find us at bio.link/the Sidebar Cantina, where you can find our links to YouTube, audio, Patreon, our latest Spotify music mixes, and all social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, Discord, and TikTok. Also in our bio link is our Public merch shop. Our new design, Hennifer, is currently on sale, and there's an unboxing of said thing on the Scarif After Dark, I think. Check it out.
Yep.
That might be in the read later. I just spoiled it. Hennifer's on sale, as well as our Sidebar Cantina logo from the Gen X point of view.
Which,
Throwbacks.
sidebar, Madame Chantal just tagged us in on social media. I think this is Twitter, with her new Hennifer coffee mug.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
See? Oh, that's dead sexy. No, hold it for the camera so we can...
All right, so let's see.
No, I'm next to me,
Oh,
fuckhead.
next. You sit next to the camera.
Next to...
Hold on, I can't see the camera. There.
You're a dumbass.
Look at that right there.
Stop blocking me! Stop blocking the talent!
That's great. They can't see shit.
Yep, can't see shit.
But yeah, she bought your merch, so
Woo!
you've got merch out there, and it's already selling.
Score a tea for only $14 until Wednesday morning. Luna Girl suggests a coffee mug on sale for only $11. 27% off! How
I'm
obvious...
37?
That's not 37.
We need to
27!
we need to make that as our standard sale price, like discount price, 37.
How about we not discount stuff and take the profits
Yeah, that's true too.
and spend it on hookers and blow?
We'd have to sell a lot of shirts. I don't know if you've priced out hookers lately, but they ain't cheap.
But blow is?
Well,
Oh, Jason, we gotta talk offline.
sure.
No hookers or blow were purchased to participate as part of the Sidebar Cantina. Despite that talking hand puppet. But wait, there's more! There are hoodies, tote bags, phone cases, exclusive stickers and pins, wall art, magnets, laptops. No laptops. Notebooks, laptop cases, just about anything you can imagine. Jesus. Want a pillow featuring the beautiful Hennifer? We got you! 5 different sizes of pillows, starting at $20. You can wake up to Hennifer's face!
that's quite.
It'd be great if we could sell googly eyes on the site too.
Oh my god.
And then you could get the pillow, and then we'll send you googly eyes, and you could put them on the pillow.
That would be
We
hilarious.
need to make that happen.
Oh my god.
Get on that. Well, that's weird. Don't look at me. Go pick out something for that perfect Christmas gift for your friends and family. Please be sure to tag us on the socials to show off that fine merch. And tell Luna Girl you want googly eyes. Reviews!
No new reviews, but again, huge thanks to everybody that tagged us on Twitter this last week with the Wikipedia
and
stuff.
the Wikipedia,
Yep. And to Chantal for buying our merch.
and Melanie Marquita and Scott Rasmussen. Thank you for all the taggings. But please write us a 5-star review on Apple. It would help us out a lot.
See.
3PO. Don't have an Apple account or Facebook page as a review feature too. Just screenshot your review before you hit done. DM us the pic or Instagram or Twitter. Tell us what you love or even hate about the show. Jennifer Lopez or Hank or Edith or Mama, who I don't even know who those people are anymore.
Yeah.
Or somebody fun will read your review word for word on our next episode. Plus, one girl will send you swag. I'm done. I'm out. Fucking do reviews. You shit. Fucking Dave rules. Peace.
Oh, hey, Dave, he's back. Everything all right over there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, next week, Vader Comics. Week after that, we might be doing an audiobook, a Star Wars audiobook. We need to talk about that offline. And that's it. That's the show. Boom. 3 hours. Look at that. Ha! Right at the three
Boom. 3 hours. Remember how we said this is going to be a short episode?
Yeah.
Did we really say that? I don't think we said that.
No, but I think we kind of insinuated it. But ha! So there's going to be no after show today. We're just going to end the stream. And thank everybody for joining us live on YouTube. Thank you to all of our audio listeners who we now have confirmation that they do still listen to the audio and they listen all the way to the end. So you know who you are, Caleb and company. You guys are all the best.
Yes.
And I think Frank also.
Yes.
Kalevich. Not Kulovic that I used to call him. Or Kulovich.
I can't keep track of how you mispronounce names. I can't keep track of how I mispronounce names.
Yeah. So, anywho, that's that. Thank you, everybody. We are done. Have a good night.
Oh, yeah, shit. Hang on. There was not a thing for the Orange and Fett show, but Orange and Fett will be doing their show on Thursday, and I believe they mentioned it in the chat, but I think they're also doing a Christmas Story. 5 p.m. Mountain. Do it.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Until next time, Dave and everybody else, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
Oof, it's terrible.
Awful.
Unlike Anne Hathaway, who is fucking gorgeous.
Okay, now what do I click?
All right. See you, everybody. We love you.
Bye.